Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live on Mondays at 1 p.m. I'm glad everybody is here. I want to put out right away that General Stupidity was here 22 minutes before the show started. Congratulations for that. I appreciate you coming in early like that. And so that was pretty good. Welcome everybody. It's Thanksgiving week. I hope everyone has a good week. Let's see who's out there. Mr. Skeptical already. Oh yeah, out in California. Nice. 20 miles from where Trump was. Wow. Did you get to see the president? Richard, hey, what's happening, Richard? Nice to see you. Trucking wife, thank you for coming. For people that don't know, I have a screen down here that I'm looking at for the comments so that I can keep up with the comments. Peterbilt 379, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Jason is here. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Wow, everybody's rolling in here now as we get started. Bold Ventures here today. Turkey Day coming up. No live show that day, of course. A Night Rider is here. Nice. Wild Bill. Good. Hello there. Thanks for coming in. Dry Moron Cotton. Nice. That's a great name. Light Bright back. I haven't seen you for a while. Chad. Cynthia, thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it. Kansas Kid. Man, Donald is here today. Wow. David, thank you for coming. Ryan, Amanda, and man, I'm having a great day. I hope everybody has a great day every single day. It's always a good day on Monday when I get to see everybody. That's super nice. Gundy, big guy. Well, that's unfortunately true. Monica, good afternoon. It is afternoon here. Maybe not where you are. Dragon, one more load than home for Thanksgiving. Yeah. Is everybody going to get home for Thanksgiving? I certainly hope so. If you want to get home. Some people want to stay out, and so they better give you a load Wednesday to Monday. That's all the way across the country, right? Healer from Illinois to Indiana. Well, that's not a great load. Where are you going to come by here and bring me a sandwich? R. Stevens, hey, what's happening? How's it going over there, sir? You should have listened about CRST. Well, better late than never. It's always time to leave now. Doug, who should I sign up with? I'm pulling my hair out. Man. Let's give Doug some recommendations. Oxymoron Cotton. That is just the greatest name I've ever heard. Almost. One of your friends is going to be here. Well, we're here for a while, so tell them to get in here and get going. Am I taking the week off? No, I am not, Jared. I will be off Thursday and Friday as paid holidays, but otherwise working as normal. Are we going to have a chat? Yes, we're going to have a chat. Certainly. Just filed for your DBA, looking to buy a truck. Yikes. Going owner-operator route, huh? All right. California's kind of cold. Maybe it will, maybe Denny's and the fires can warm it up, for sure. Oh, you're in Indianapolis? Doug is in Indianapolis. You're still at CRST school? Well, how are the rooms there? Tell everybody how the rooms are. And are you at the school in Iowa? Let's ask it that way. They do them around the country, so. Michael's on vacation. That's nice. Paid vacation. Hopefully in the Bahamas. Do they have Wi-Fi down there? Edgar, what's happening, Edgar, right? You're staying out till Christmas. Nice. Whew. That's a long time to stay out. You know, I used to do that. I've been out as long as 5 months at a time. And I tell you, that's a long time. I'm telling you, that is a long time. Found it this morning. You got to have 104 hours of vacation time to use before the end of the year. You know, at my company, you get your vacation, but you don't have to use it. They'll pay you out by the end of the year, which I like. So in December, they're going to pay me a little over 2 weeks of vacation besides the vacation that I take. So that'll make for some really nice checks. So you either use it or you get paid for it, which is great. All right. Did you hear about J.B. Hunt being forced to pay drivers? They did not follow California's labor law. Yes. J.B. Hunt and these companies are getting in trouble. They're not following the labor law in California, which is you have to be paid for, you get breaks, and you have to be paid different things. And so companies just don't follow it, and finally they get sued, and then they have to pay. I love it. The rule is the rule. If they don't like it, they should not do business in California, and then the rule would change. Stephen, you missed the beginning. Don't worry. This is not Shakespeare that you're missing here, and you can always watch it in reruns, right? You're getting sick of mega carriers lowering the rates? Yeah, we all are, right? That doesn't help anybody, but then people accept the low rate. That is really the problem. If they put a load out there for 40 cents, the thing is, if nobody took it, it wouldn't be 40 cents. Mr. and Mrs. Redwine. Yes, we're having a great day here, and I hope that everybody is doing great there. Lindahl Redwine. Nice. You're out 6 months at a time, but go home at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Man, that's a long time to be out. I hope you're single. Or you will be soon, man. Stephen Brown, yeah, where you been? We do this every Monday. Come on in every Monday. I know some people got to work. I get it. No problem. You can roll over 48 hours the next year. Well, that's pretty good. You know, most places don't let you do that. I can't roll anything. They do not allow rolls here. You either use it or you get paid for it at the end of the year. They don't roll it. I wish you could roll it. That'd be great. But no rolling. Use it or get paid, which is still pretty good. If they didn't pay you for it, though, I'd use all of it because that's what they give you. You mean the mega carriers are running the independents out of business? Well, agree, but because somebody will take the freight at a certain rate, correct? I mean, if nobody takes it, the price goes up on it, for sure. One of my friends that's going to be here is being harassed by Stevens Transport after he left. Well, does he owe them money? That's the question. There are 3 to a room, right, at CRST, nice. And you're in Iowa. Okay, you have no way to study because everybody just wants to play. That's correct, right? There's too many students and not enough teachers, correct. And you're just a number, yes. Now, that part I don't mind. You know, I'm at a number at my place. I don't care. I don't care if they know me. So that's just me, though. But at CRST, right, they don't have enough teachers, of course. And so then you get how many students are in your class? That's a good question. How many are there? You're a trooper staying out. Yeah, no doubt. Brian, what's going on? You're in southern Mississippi for 2 days. I'm in shorts and a tank top. Nice. Well, thanks for throwing that out there. It's, 38 here today or whatever. My favorite guy from Chicago, Roger Penske himself, is here. I always love it when we get large, stars basically in here. Thank you for coming in. Yes. You're single or no kids? Well, that's what I say that, if you're single, go live in the truck. Have no expenses, no house, no nothing. When you come home, stay at a motel and save most of your money. That's not a bad way to get started. For people that are 21, think about that, early 20s, or really anybody. If you don't have any kids or anything, go live in the truck for a few years. Just go live there and save all your money. All you need is a cell phone to watch this show on Mondays. You don't need money for anything else, so that's good. You're looking to get into trucking, get your own CDL. That is a great idea, right. You're located in the Midwest. There are tons of companies in the Midwest that will put you on. Go check out Newsbomb in the Midwest to start with. How about that? That's a good one. What do we all think about that? That's too many to a room, Amanda says. That's how they do it. At CRST, it's 3 to a room. And, right, they turn the lights out at a certain time. That's what they said. Are they still doing that at CRST? Or the TV? The TV in the break room or whatever, the main room goes off at a certain time. The marm turns it off. Either Monday you're still working. Nice. You can still listen. 5 months with Stevens looking to go into Crete this January. Oh, all right. Why are we leaving? What do you think about Stevens? What's the problem? Let everybody know. I think we all know what it is. What is the deal over there at Stevens? So other people can hear from somebody working there what you're thinking about there. Also Midwest. What about Millis too? Check them out. Right. Do I see pay going up? James, I see driver pay going up all the time. There's constantly places posting pay raises and everything. Frank, we're going to make trucking great again because we're going to get everybody paid for all of their time. That's the whole goal here, right? There's 5 classes and 65 pre-class. That's awesome at CRST. This is why, I kind of recommend not going to the CRST class. You're really not going to get trained when you have that many people in class. You just can't get trained with that many people. You can't. Did the trainers there have any experience or have they even said? Let's find that out. Freymiller, I haven't looked into Freymiller. Some people have commented about it. Who has an opinion on Freymiller since I haven't looked into them? You plan on becoming a dump truck driver and then once you go 21, go over there. Oh, that's a good idea. Who is hiring? Who is that? I'm going to say Hogan, right, is running, at least in Indianapolis, an ad for 18-year-olds to come and drive intrastate here in Indiana. I know you're not in Indiana. But, you could look into some local companies will take you under 21 to stay in the state. Hogan has dedicated runs here for 18-year-olds. They're running ads for it right now. I think that's interesting. You stay at a motel on time, off home time. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, right? You have a friend from Puerto Rico, right, and a cousin from Austin, Texas, living in the truck, and it's exactly what they've done. done for the past 3 years. That's an excellent way to do it. That is totally an excellent way to do it. Two would be even better. But I always say I'm not teaming with anybody. So, but totally with no bills, you can't have a house payment doing that. Get in the truck and just live in the truck and just stay in a motel whenever you want to. You're from Chicago, but you bow to Mr. Penske. We all do. I mean, come on. Roger Penske on here? It's really something. You need money for the lot lizards. You'll have money by living in the truck. You can have all your lot lizard money, right? The light and the TV. Okay, so I'm right. So at CRST, they turn the lights and the TV off at a certain time at night when you're in CRST school because they don't want you up watching TV or something because you can't decide that for yourself. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. But the real problem, I guess that can be tolerated. Having all these people to a class, how do you expect to learn anything? That's way too many people to a class. Stevens is lowballers. All right. What are they? Do they broker freight out too? You're here, don't have a job, but prospects looking around. Well, I mean, Kenneth, there's going to be tons of places calling you, no problem. And for those of you that don't know, if you go to the Mid-America Truck Show at the end of March, if you're looking to change companies, they have a whole room full of recruiters there, and that's in Louisville. That's down in Louisville. And I hope to see everybody there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Last weekend in March. We'll be announcing that in about a week or two because they're going to be giving out tickets for free, and I hope you'll all get yours. Stephen Brown, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving back this way. That's much appreciated. 36 cents for company drivers, and otherwise, they're great. Yikes. They got to be great, That's a little low. 36 cents. Let's just be honest about that. Dustin, you've been doing this for 2 years, but you want to go back to a normal life. But you're not ready for that yet. Well, the normal life is waiting for you. I find tons of local places hiring. I just posted on my Facebook page yesterday, $33 an hour I found out. I found $33 an hour job. So, local job. So that is really something. As I'm on Facebook too, that don't know it, at Trucking Answers. I'm on Instagram at Trucking Answers. I'm on Twitter, Trucking Answers. So you can go over there. I post stuff here and there. This is the main post for videos, but I post some other stuff over there. So I posted $33 an hour job for Craig Transport. Interesting. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Johnny. I hope you get home if you want to be. They do as well at Sierra England. 8 dudes in a room, lights out at 10. Wow. 8 dudes in a room, lights out at 10. That must be a disaster. Let's see. Favorite company runs through Arizona. Well, there's not too many companies that run out west. That's for sure. Who's going to run out, you need to find a place that runs out there because the companies that are out there that are large are not great. Like Swift and Knight are big in Arizona, of course. Trying to get on with TW Trans Systems Trans. They pay $1,100 a week, 60 cents a mile. If you drive more than the $1,100, then pay. I love a guarantee. Let's talk about a guarantee for a minute. I love getting a guarantee because you always know what you're going to make as a minimum. It doesn't have to be a salary, but they say even $1,000, $1,100. I see these $1,200 as a then if you got to sit somewhere, you're getting your $200. You're getting $225. Like Newspawn was $250 a day guaranteed. So if you had a layover, you got $250. So that is very good right now. England, run where you can. I totally agree. How can we outperform the mega carrier? Anybody can outperform a mega carrier because they only take students. They really want students, right? Because they don't know any better, and that's why they don't have any retention. Everybody leaves there, really. The donation is for my turkey. I appreciate that. Michael, yes, Mark needs turkey. When you started Stevens, we had to do an entire trip plan before we left. You should trip plan before you leave, though, really, right? I mean, seriously? And Joshua, paid by the hour. The ultimate goal I would like is that all drivers get paid by the hour plus overtime for every minute that you're working or on duty time. There shouldn't be any time that's free. Once you're at work, you should be working. That's at every other job in the whole country. You get paid for all of your time. Why shouldn't you get paid as a truck driver for paid all your time? It's just as simple as that. So that's how I think it should be. That's the trouble with their Arizona. Yeah, there are tons of companies, but not many good ones, and not many run out west. That's true. Why don't you start at Stevens? We had to write on a trip plan. Yes, but before we left, and load messages had to be included and brakes. What kind of message do you have to send for brakes? Amos, what's going on? You heard reefer is bad pay because they make insurance claims. No insurance company writes a check. Insurance would want to inspect the cargo and determine the loss. Not as a company driver, certainly. As a company driver, you shouldn't be made to pay for anything like that. They can fire you. They can't take it out of your check. Maybe as an owner-operator, there's some kind of specific thing. I'm sure there's some owner that could tell us about that here. But as a company driver, there isn't that kind of problem. Would I recommend FedEx Ground for owner-operators? It depends on what everything, all for owner-operators, depends on what it pays. People always ask me about, oh, why don't you do this owner-operator company? A lot of it depends on what it pays. Somebody, the pay can be the same, and one person makes money and one person doesn't. So somebody that's got an $800 a week payment and gets 5 miles to the gallon has a much difficult time making money compared to somebody that owns a truck and doesn't have a payment and gets 7. So a lot of the owner-operator thing, it depends on your truck. Do I drive one of the new Cascadias? I do have a 2018 Cascadia, and I love it. I got it last year, and I think it's great. Get the new bodied kind with the LED lights. Just the headlights are worth it. They changed the whole inside from the Evolution, which is what I gave them back. That was like 3 years old, and I love it. I think it's the greatest thing. Right, I just love it. It's so quiet. It's like driving a car around. Love it. You're going to save your Petro points for Thanksgiving dinner? Nice. Right, Mr. Skeptical gets paid by the day, and because I think it would be hard to pay you by the hour. They could pay you in gift cards for your place, but yeah, pay by the day is also excellent, especially if you're doing work like Mr. Skeptical does, for sure. Michael Beers. Oh, thanks for the turkey. I appreciate that. That is great. Thank you very much. Yeah. The new Cascadias are good and the lights are better. Look, I'm here to tell you. You think I'm crazy. Oh, Mark, you talk about lights. Those lights are 10 billion%. That's an actual mathematical number right there. Better than the old lights. Way better. They said, though, they don't carry those. Our shop's not carrying them because they're expensive, because you have to replace the whole assembly. If the light goes out, we're going to get a loaner truck until they can order a light assembly for the thing. So keep that in mind if you own the truck and are buying the truck. I don't know what that costs. It's got to be a lot when they won't keep them in stock. They still make you send trip plans. Oh, they make you do it for 90 days? You got to send them the trip plan? Oh, all right. Well, now I think that's crazy. Good thing you had an extra gallon reserve DEF. Oh, you forgot to fill it up and had to fill it up with the gallon keep with me. Yeah. For people that don't know that, once you get into a DEF truck, it stops running if you run out of DEF. It depowers and then turns itself off because, we'll be polluting the whole planet if you run the truck for 20 minutes. So absolutely, right. Always have an extra jug of DEF with you for sure. And that was excellent to have that. I'm sure you're glad you had that now. Because how embarrassing it would be to call and have somebody deliver you 1 gallon of DEF on the side of the road because your truck stopped running. You should drive a 2019 Cascadia, man. But too much safety. Yeah, the safety stuff is annoying. Mine last week stopped working. I got 2 lights. So the automatic emergency braking and the radar crew stopped working on it. There's some kind of fault. I'm not fixing it. So now I don't have that stuff on it, which I love. I love it. 2 lights lit up, don't care, right? So now no automatic braking, no radar crews. Love it. Would I recommend a hazmat tanker for a new driver? Yeah, why not? I recommend whatever you want to do. So yeah, go. I say you should get your hazmat anyway, and yeah, go drive a tanker. They should train you. If they'll train you how to do it, absolutely. You got less of a problem in the windstorms, that's for sure. No hand unloading, right? Yeah, so definitely. You like the look of the older Cascadia better? Yeah, Peterbilt, agree, maybe. I think the new one looks pretty classy. But at least I can see at night. That's the goal. That's the whole goal of it, right? Because I'm not at some kind of contest like that for sure. Your fleet manager is getting to you on the other pay for city work empty haul. Actually said to me, tell her what load I need. Isn't their responsibility? Should I ask for a new fleet manager? If you can't work well with the fleet manager and you're having problems, yeah, change. Because it's just going to be frustration. They should have somebody different, right? Don't be frustrated at work for sure. Started with England in a class of 80. Yikes. You heard they're only 10% with them. Oh yeah, left after your contract. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good class. 10% where they kept 10%. But that is a lot of companies, let's be honest. A lot of the mega carriers, they don't keep people. It's not like it's anything different at most places. FedEx Ground is 100% contractor. You have to find a good contractor. Your son makes 58 cents a mile. Yes, but is he 1099 or W 2? If he's 1099, he is being misclassified. If there's a trucker shortage, wouldn't we have the power in dictating what the wages are? I mean, you kind of do right now. We have a lot of power in wages. There are places showing a lot of different wages for sure. So we kind of have that power available to us in the wage department as we go through it. So, you know, there's places at 35 cents. There's places at 55 cents. So it depends. You can kind of throw that out there however you want it to be, though. So what's the best team company? I'm not a huge team fan. So, you know, the best team companies, I see a lot of FedEx Ground W-2s in Indianapolis in the high 70s. Bar none is in the 60s, mid 60s for teams. So I've heard of those kind of things. I don't look too much of that up, I guess because I'm personally not a fan of it. And you're kind of guy who wants the truck loud when you hit the jakes. Yeah, nice. Not in the truck stop. Keep those off in the truck stop if you don't mind. And keep your headlights turned off when you're parked. Thank you very much. The Loves Friday. I counted 5 drivers, and it wasn't that full. Headlights on, curtains closed. All right, turn your lights off. Come on. As soon as you get in there, parking lights, drive around. Think it like the drive-through. All right? You live in Philly, and a lot of guys go to food center, and big food providers will give you a load, meaning fresh or frozen food to hotels. Do you deliver right to a hotel? Headed home, have the new Cascadia. Johnny, so you have the LED lights and everything on it, which I saw earlier, right? Somebody said they were $900. That's crazy for the light assembly, but I don't pay for it. And it's supposed to last the life of the truck. Isn't it a great truck, though? Come on. Freightliner, right? They finally, after 1,000 years of making trucks and buggies and everything, they're finally doing a good job. It's like they listened to drivers. And when drivers said, do this, change this, and it's come out pretty good. I like it. What's the best team paying company? Yeah, oxymoron. Like I'm saying, I haven't looked into too many of that kind of thing. You know, bar none pays good on teams, and a W-2 on a FedEx run, a good crypto futures. I just see Covenant, no. New freight shaker still always wonder. International is solid writing. I don't like internationals. I don't like the way the buttons and stuff are set up in it. I don't like the radio and ours are really low. They've put it really low in the dash. The buttons on the dashboard are random because we've got a couple of them and they're random. How are the buttons different in different trucks? They're in a different order. So I'm not a huge fan. I'm just not a fan of internationals. Though I like the way they look. They look really good. And somebody from Carlisle sent me a picture of their truck, whose name I forgot right now. But and that's on the gallery at truckinganswersnation.com. And I really like the way it looks. So posted that picture. They asked me to post it. So it looks good. 900 for the light assembly. Yeah, that's great. That's just totally crazy, right? I'm a little behind. Christopher, oh, thank you very much, Christopher. I appreciate that today. Thank you for popping in there with that. You need to go salary and get rid of all the wage games. I would like to see either salary or hourly. I would like to see hourly plus overtime. What do you think about that? That way we're paid for all of our time, or salary or daily pay, like Mr. Skeptical is saying. Daily pay is not bad either. Twix and payday bars are a must, yes. You hate the creep mode as well on the new Cascadia. It wants to keep pushing low speeds. You got to hit the brakes. Okay, you know, creep, but if you remember the internationals, you know, of maybe 10 years ago, or the automatics, as they call them, they didn't really have creep mode and you'd bang in the dock. So, you know, it's a trade-off, but at least this way we don't look like we just started driving last week. UPS hires teams. Oh, that's interesting. You know, I don't mention UPS much because their ads here say seasonal. So I'm assuming January, February, you could lose your job there. And I don't know if I want to change jobs and then lose my job in 2 months. They say they keep some people, but that's a risk to take. And it depends on who's counting on your paycheck or whatever, because do you want to change jobs again in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I'm not sure about that. You fall in the 55 cents category, but somehow those lowball carriers still find suckers. Yikes. That's not good. And you're welcome for the crap carrier. That is a lot of fun doing that every Wednesday. Your your goals to drive for NASCAR, hauling the equipment. So go for it, right? Do it. That'd be an interesting job. That's probably a daily pay job too. Probably. David, you're welcome. I hope somebody can get in there with a good answer for that, really. So I jumped ship for more money and went backwards as far as the truck goes. Now you're in a 2014. That's not super old. That isn't like terribly old truck. It's not like it's a 2006 or whatever. If the truck giving you problems, and it depends. What do you think about the truck? Trucker Diesel has a website for company. There's a website with your name. Maybe he does. Right. Yeah, you're welcome. The crap carrier, it's fun to do. I like doing Thursday as well, though, where we feature a company that's doing it better. Right. Yeah. Your fleet manager, Steven, I think, look, if you can't get along with him, it doesn't matter why. Change. You don't want your day to be frustrated thinking, oh, God, I got to call this person again. So, absolutely. Some people, you just don't get along with them, and that's not a problem. Just change. Not worth hassling over it. If you got to think about it, change them. Change them for sure. What do I think about working for FedEx Ground Team? No paid holidays or off on those days. If you're a W-2, that's good. And they roll you, which they should. It should be drop and hook, right? But you got to be a W-2. Harvesters are gone. You're almost done CDL school as a second career. You feel more comfortable with a manual. They're going away. You might find some companies with them. I, of course, like driving a manual. Everybody enjoys it, but take the automatic and off you go, right? Do the LED lights have problems getting snow on them in the winter? That's funny you say that, right? Since they don't get a standard halogen. Yes, they do. When I came back, I just put that winter tip out, with all that ice. The headlights were also covered. I should show that. So the next time that it snows heavy, I'll show the headlights. They're totally covered, and they get dimmer and dimmer. There's no heat to them. So I agree that, Volvo cars have that problem. They have a little heat thing in the light thing. They have a little heat thing in there to melt the headlights. But Freightliner doesn't have that figured out. And yes, they're totally covered. This was with ice because there's no heat to them. And it was just a white glow in front of the truck. So yes, absolutely. But really, every time you stop, you should wipe them off. I stopped to fuel, and sure enough, the guy next to me fills up and then leaves. And I noticed his trailer covered with snow. You couldn't see his taillights. Can you walk around the truck when you're filling it up and knock the snow off your lights so people can see you? I mean, it's just being lazy. But yes, you got to stop. It was 2 hours, 15 minutes between stopping and getting back, and they were completely covered with snow, for sure. How do you go about suing CRST for violating your lease purchase agreement? They got you in a 3-year contract and violated it twice. It's a problem. Had to terminate, but gave up good jobs to do this. I'm not a lawyer, right? But I'm going to tell you, suing a large company like that is going to be very tough. They have lawyers on staff, and you're just you. So, honestly, unless it's like tens of thousands of dollars, you're probably going to have to eat it. That's just the truth of it. Because suing them, are you going to travel back and forth to Iowa during each time that they get a continuance or whatever? It's a real problem. You went to Crete, they gave you a new Freightliner with 15,000 miles. That's nice. You have the new headlights, and you love them, of course. Okay, your friend is here. That's good. Your son gets $250 a day, daily pay, Bold Venture. That's excellent. $1,250 a week, $1,500 with Saturday. What's wrong with that? And you don't have to worry that you're going to sit and not make any money. You're looking at going to Crete? Yeah, I recommended them a few weeks ago. Right, they have a lot of different things they do there. All different kinds of stuff, which I like. So if there's something you don't like, you can move. Yeah, call them. Eddie or Terry is here, but you're late. You are late. What, we're 29:35 late. That is 2.3 demerits. Sorry. Those will be sent to you immediately. What's the deal with oil field? Is the money good? Okay, there we have an oil field driver generally on here. Let's bring them on 1,800 to 2,200. That's what they're advertising. They are advertising. Echo your voice on Crap Company. Yes, we're low budget here, and the video editing thing doesn't have that. Right. I'm working on something for that. I thought that is a good idea though. Can't wait for the Crap Company of the Year. Can't remember the company I talked about, but they made the drivers become part owners and paid them like crap. Yes, that is Wild West is Express. By the way, you can see all these companies at truckinganswersnation.com and click on Crap Company. All the videos are compiled there to look at. And remember, you will all be voting on Crap Company of the Year. It's not my decision. It's going to be yours. So in just a few weeks, the voting will begin. You Windex clean the dust from your lights daily. You almost have to, right? I mean, one more time, how should you go about asking for a new fleet manager? I would just ask them. You know, whoever the fleet manager's boss is, there's always a boss at these places. Say, look, we're just not getting along. You don't have to be, bad about it because you don't want them to think bad about you. But, if it's a frustration to call somebody, just boot them and move on because the day is hard enough. So call their boss and say, look, we're just not working out. Can I have somebody else? That's the kind of thing that I think would be the better way to do it, especially if you're going to stay at that company. How many Crap Company of the Week representatives do you think watch this live show? Probably none. I don't think they care that much. How many watch the live show? I don't know if anybody watches the live show. They probably do watch the video because somebody probably sends it to them. But I don't think many of them watch the live show. Like K&B wrote to me, Vera did a video response sort of on their own channel to it, which I think is kind of clever. Yeah, the crap companies don't care. That is true, right? Only K&B really wanted to defend themselves, so at least they get a little bit of credit for that. You passed a Star and an Old West truck the other day. That is a weird day. Any thoughts on U.S. Express? There's a video about their little college scam that they have going out there, and their pay is really low to get started. Really low. Am I going to wear a tux for the crap company? Oh, I should wear a tux, right. I should go down and rent, like an 80s powder blue tux. I wonder if I can get one of those. Yeah, there is one from September on U.S. Express about their college program thing. When you did local and got paid by the hour, I had a delivery in San Ysidro. Nice. Was told I'd be there for several hours. Yeah, right. You told you get paid by the hour, who cares? That's the thing. If everybody got paid by the hour, you wouldn't care about the log. You wouldn't care. Because you're getting paid, and your company would then have to care. And they'd get you moving on. They would get you moving on. Kenneth, U.S. is one of the lowest pay. Yes, that is correct. Right, that's what I'm saying. U.S. really low pay. You're only taught to do a pre-trip and it's never been a problem. I just saw your video on the post-trip myth. Look, the FMCSA says at the end of the day, if you find any problems, you have to write them down on the DVIR and turn it in. You don't have to do it if there's no problems. Okay, we can agree to that. How do you know if there's problems unless you go check for problems? That's the thing. Okay, you don't have to do a post-trip. Well, you have to fill out the DVIR at the end of your trip if you find issues. But you can't not find issues unless you go look for issues. Therefore, the way I would say that is you've got to go look for issues. Anytime you're inspecting the truck is on duty time. Therefore, it's logged. How about that? What do we think about that? Any thoughts on Averett? They just ran an ad here about local jobs and stuff. So, without knowing that much about them, I think they'd be worth calling to find out because they do a lot of different things. They're kind of like, somebody wrote to me about like a Penske Logistics too and said, what do you think about this and black horse carriers? It depends because they do different things in different cities. So where you are, it pays one thing, where somebody else is over here, it's a whole different account that they're on and it pays a whole different way. That's kind of a more localized, thing that has to be called in each individual city to see what they have near you. What's today's topic? The topic hasn't come up yet. Crete rules. Yeah, Crete, I found to be okay. Oil field tanker hazmat is $35 an hour, Marty says. Okay, that's pretty good. And the hourly pay, and then where you're sitting in these lines waiting to get unloaded, you're going to get paid. Right, Michael, exactly. Truck parking and ELD, exactly. I'm thinking of switching due to finding out your company is paying household goods miles. Yeah, you can get a raise just by going for practical miles. That's really bad. Why don't you ask them why they still pay household goods miles? Maybe you can get it changed internally. Go to them and say, what's the dealio here? I got to switch out here if I'm not going to get some money. For LED lights during the winter, you've heard spray with WD-40. Or waxing them will not prevent but helps. How true, you haven't tried it. You've been running California? I don't know. I waxed the truck, which I did a video about this summer, and I waxed the lights also. I also wax my lights on my cars. But I don't know about spraying WD-40 on the plastic cover. I don't know what that would do to it over time. Yeah, I see Rain-X. That's maybe not a bad idea either to put it on there. Then it wouldn't stick as much. Because I Rain-X the windshields. I never thought to do it on there. I don't know. I probably wouldn't put WD-40 on the plastic, I don't think. Joshua the Tanker. Hey, what's happening? Midland, Texas is tanker job paying and paid housing. But it smells bad? Well, sometimes you got to tolerate the smells. Your friend can't type because he's driving. All right. He's being harassed by Stevens because of the non-compete issue. They're threatening to take his license away through the DMV. They can't take his license away through the DMV. All right. They can't go to the DMV. They're a private company. The license you get from the state, they're private. They can't just go and say, take this person's license away. Tell them they're not taking my license away. They can't take his license away. Can you Rain-X your headlights? Yeah, I don't see why not. Does he have that in writing from Stevens? He needs to get that in writing. Okay, he's being harassed by the non-compete. He must have that in writing. Tell him to send it to me, mark@truckinganswersnation.com. He must have it in writing. Tell him I'm not, and he should tell them that on the phone. Tell them, number one, this is being recorded. They'll probably hang up. And if they don't, say, look, everything from now on is in writing. You have to write to me. I will not take your phone calls. They're being recorded. I consider this harassment. And I'm recording the call for quality purposes. And see if they stay on the phone, okay? So after that, he can record the call, and he should, after he tells them that. Record it and tell them, write to me in writing. And I'd love to see it. If it's just on the phone, though, it never happened. That's what they'd say, and that's what everybody would say. So tell them to write it to him in writing that they're going to go to the state and have his license taken away. I'd love to see that. mark@truckinganswersnation.com. Let's do it. Bring it over here. I'll call him. One of the Crete bigwigs is at your company. He made it a great place to haul for. Yeah, other people have said that, right? So let's go over to Crete. You're doing tanker hazmat in the Midwest, but plan on going Texas after you get your year. All right. Why not Rain-X the lights? Yeah, why not Rain-X the lights? Try dog food places if you want to open your sinus cap. What smells the best? Oh, tobacco, right? Who's with me? I picked up tobacco down there at whatever, Reynolds or whatever. Oh my gosh, does it smell great? I almost started smoking. Rain-X the headlights? Yeah, Skippy, let's put Rain-X on the headlights. WD-40 will brighten them up if they got a haze in them. On plastic headlights, these are plastic covered LED lights. These are not the glass headlights from the 70s. I don't think so. Look, maybe. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I might try it on somebody else's truck. Oh, that's a good idea, especially over the holiday. If I can remember, I'll put it on somebody else's truck, like on Thursday morning, and then I'll go back over there Sunday and see what it did to the lights. Andrews Transportation. Ooh, out west, right? Nice. You just see them in Nevada. They're out west. They're a company out west. They can't take your license more than someone could take your birth certificate. Yeah, they're not taking your license. I want to see that in writing. Who knows about Andrews? They're Oregon or Idaho or something out there. They're way out west there. Wipe New works magic. I've never heard of that. What's Wipe New? Sounds like something a lot of drivers need for maybe a different reason. Huh. Greater Omaha Express. I never heard of them either. They go to great lengths to keep you happy. Nice trucks, nice. Oh, thanks, Jared. I appreciate that. Winter tip, bring extra non-perishables. Yes. Blankets and clothes and other supplies. Yes. Look, get those big jugs of peanut butter. The 32 ounce. I love having that in the truck. because you don't need a tool to open it or really even a tool to eat it other than your paws, jam it in there. So yeah, grab a couple of those and keep them in there. Stuff that you don't need tools or heat or anything for. That is an excellent tip. Chicken parts and pieces. Ugh. Kim says, Prime won't hire me because you've had 2 jobs in 12 months. Wow, I didn't know Prime had any kind of standards. How can they afford to be so strict? Yeah, no doubt. And believe me, you're not missing anything by not going there. There's places that'll hire you. Forget Prime. Use plexus for plastic headlights covers. What the heck is that? That sounds like some scientific thing now. We're going science. Use the bug spray off to clean headlights on cars. Bug spray off. What does that do to the... So I'm worried about the plastic fogging up. I don't want to fog the plastic over time. I want to be able to see it. They have a plastic cover on these Cascadias, and it's kind of flimsy. When I was knocking the ice off it, I thought, man, I almost banged through the thing. I'm not sure what that would do to it. I don't think the WD-40 would help it at all. How about truckers being governed for fuel savings? My take is when you factor in slowing down for grades, the drag coefficient and loss of time negates any savings. Well, it depends how slow you go and how you pull, I guess. I'm in the mid-8s in my Cascadia now at a couple 100,000 miles or so, and or whatever it's got on it. So that's pretty good. And I agree, though. If you're heavy, let's crank the truck up, so we can get up and down the hills. I see some places make you slow down the hill. Let you slow down going down the hill. And that's crazy because they have a maximum speed no matter how fast, the speed limit is. Let the people roll down the hill. That wastes fuel too. Some of the companies don't think. They just set a maximum speed. And so I'm seeing people going down a hill with their brakes on. It's a 70 and they're braking at 67. And I'm thinking, man, I bet their company doesn't allow them to speed up down the hill. That's ridiculous. Have I heard anything about basin transportation in Oklahoma, Ma? No. Yes, Oxymoron. Yeah, pass the word on and, tell them to write to me with the story or whatever. I'd love to hear it and what they're saying and who's saying it. I bet you it's not in writing. I bet it is not in writing. Plexus is a display cleaner like Windex, but made for plastic. Oh, that's interesting. Is that available just anywhere? I don't know. I've ever seen it. D-Boy, yes. I will make sure of what truck that is over there at the this weekend. When the headlights yellow over, replace them. Tech with all those hacks. Well, I don't want them to yellow to start with, and I can't just replace that. They're not going to do it. They'll say, well, the light works or whatever. So how about if we don't yellow the thing to start with? That's what I think. And and something that takes the ice off, that's a great idea. What do you think of John Christian Trucking? They're being sued by like everybody. The lease purchase is $1.05. Oh, you're not going to make any money. $1.05. All right, and I've seen people, oh, Mark, I took $1,200 home. Well, so what? So do half the people that write to me, as a company driver. You got all your expenses that you are not paying, like insurance, workman's comp. Of course you take money home. Taxes. That isn't, $1.05 is not great money. I have a person, that writes to me, that emails to me, that's getting $2 as a lease purchase operator. That's making money, to him, to the truck, but not at John Christian, And so there is money, but $1.05, no way. Not when we got companies paying 70 cents out here. Info and Andrus, they run the 11 states. Yeah, they're a Western company, correct. Plexus is at Walmart. All right, interesting. You can use cheap toothpaste to clean headlights. Yeah, I've used Pearl Drops to clean car yellowed headlights years ago. The 680, you were at Millis, the brake lights come on with the Jakes, no pedal. Yeah, we had those and the old Evolutions. When you would turn when the Jake came on, the brake lights came on, which I didn't really like because I use them a lot. Other than truck stops, I have them on all the time. I don't know how you all run them, but I run them all the time because they're quiet. The truck has an exhaust that comes out underneath. It isn't big stacks. So they're very quiet and they're just on all the time. So, for just general driving, they're on. So I have them on. So then the brake lights might come on and off and that. I don't like the brake lights to come on with them, really. Plexus is big in the aviation world. That's where Rain-X got its start, right? You could probably pick some up at my local general aviation airport. Oh, all right. Yes. So I will go to the local general aviation airport and get it. How much would it be there, where people have planes and stuff? I guess Aritz Airport would be the nearest airport to me that is a general aviation airport. So that would be interesting. I think Walmart, I bet if it's like that, you could probably get it online as well, right? Let's just be honest about it. I will look it up, though. I think it's interesting. If it lets the ice not stick, that would be great. You want to find a big company that you can do a couple months as a company driver and then switch to Lease-purchase. You live in North Carolina. Well, there's tons of places to go on. As I say, I don't recommend being a lease driver really ever, except the person that writes to me that's getting around $2 a mile. I haven't really seen anybody as a lease-purchase driver that's making any more money than a comparable company driver with the same benefits. So I just don't see any point to renting the truck from them. I'd rather you bought the truck yourself and leased it on somewhere, because then you control the equipment. You control the business asset. It's yours. So if there's a problem, you take it. You don't get arrowed right out of your job and are stuck somewhere. Or if they don't like you or don't give you miles, you're stuck. If you get somewhere without miles and you own the truck, you just take it wherever you want to go. But when you rent a truck from the company, you're stuck. You're stuck there. You could leave there with nothing, and you lose all the money you put in the truck as well. Not a fan. You don't like the lights with the Jake because people think you're checking them. Yes, I totally agree. And so I wish they didn't do it. It's probably in the computer. When they switched to these new trucks, it didn't do it, but the Evolutions all did it. I don't know why. About to start at JB Hunt next week. What are my thoughts? Well, it depends what you're going to do there. They do a lot of local stuff around here that is probably worth it. But, general freight there, I don't know. What are they going to pay you? And what are you going to be doing? Didn't realize you could get it at Walmart. Yeah, I never even heard of it. Millis transfer requires you to have 3 years worth of work history. If you only got 1 year as a trucker, no other jobs, they won't hire you. Yeah, they have a school. They take people out of school at Millis. I've talked to them, and their drivers on here from Millis. They have a truck school, so they don't require you to have any time as a truck driver. Certainly to go work there. Yeah, and you can look at a Maverick. What you could do if you're waiting on a company to get back to you for 2 months and finally you're just giving you a call. Well, I guess if you're still available, you can go to work there. I mean, that kind of makes me nervous. What were they doing all that time if they need drivers? Why aren't they calling you? So that makes me a little nervous. Millis told you if you got your own CDL, you would just need 6 months experience. Look, I know that they take people out of school. I mean, that's what they do there. Rail used to have a maximum speed policy. If you went over the speed, you would lose your fuel bonus. Right. Yep. Yes. Spice Weasel. That's pretty good. Spice Weasel. Yeah. So these companies that are stupid, you're rolling down a hill, which is taking just almost no fuel, right? And just to idle the truck, basically. And so then people are slowing down because they have a maximum speed. Now I can understand that you can't go 90 or whatever down some long grade. But just down a general hill where you might pick up 5 miles an hour, the drivers are required to hit the brakes, which just burns off all the savings. It's stupid. It's totally stupid. Isn't Lease-purchase a big scam? Big miles in the beginning and starvation. Wash after the lease is up, a wash, rinse, repeat. They can do that to you, right? They can starve you out. They can what if the company just starts having problems or something like that? Even beyond their fault. You're still starved out because you're renting their truck. Go get your own truck. If worst case, go somewhere, buy your truck. Then if they don't give you miles, you take your truck and leave and go work somewhere else. Here, you just take your blankets and leave, and you've left them all your money as well. Here's what I'm holding on to my hand umbrella as seen on TV. Major brand Rust-Oleum. Rainbrella. What states have the best roads? Somewhere south of here without potholes. For sure. And less traffic. 51 cents dedicated. Touch, home weekends, and $5 a stop. Is this their final mile thing? Where they deliver final mile to like appliances to homes? I've seen that JB Hunt is doing that. You've got years of experience as a rep. You have no other job before that. They won't hire you because they require a 3-year work history. So if you're unemployed, they won't hire you. That's weird. And really? What if you just didn't have a job? What if you've been sick and you just got better, like you had an operation or something like that? No max speed at your company. The trucks are set at 70. That's the way it should be, unless you screw up. Then they turn you down. Well, then that you learn, right? 70, 75 is really what they should be set at. Probably 75. But 70 is way better than most places. And then you can go downhill and not have to worry about, I'm 1 mile an hour over. That's crazy. Arizona has good highways. Right, because it doesn't freeze. Right, but you get up on 40 and then that's where you get problems. Exactly. Good morning from the Pacific Northwest. What's the weather doing out there today, Lauren? David is surprised about Millis. So am I, because they have a truck school. Greetings from South Jersey. Nice weather. Nice weather in Jersey. Look, it's supposed to be in the mid-40s here all week. No snow through December 2nd. If so, anybody coming through Indiana, we're not expecting snow for the next week and a half. It's a cat food account. Where you so a hand unloading at the store, at a grocery store? That's interesting. In a container? If it's still dedicated, I still like that. But, if it stops and it's $5 a stop, that's not a lot of money a stop. You better only be at the stop 5 minutes, unless you're getting some kind of per case pay also. To clarify, your friend said the lender of the school, not Stevens Transport, and they are threatening to send a letter to the DOT, which caused them to be shut down. I'd love to see that in writing. Oxymoron. I would love to see that in writing. That the school is what school, who's doing it, and they're threatening to send a letter. Did they send him a letter or her? Right. That's what I want to know. Did they write it to them? West Virginia's redoing every interstate. They need to, right? I have 75 here in Phoenix. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Stevens makes you take a safety class and sit in the yard for a few days for rolling hills. Sit on the yard for a few days for rolling hills. What the heck? What does that mean? It's snowing in Minnesota. Nice. Bar none are 65, but 75 downhill. All right. Look, I could deal with that if they'll let you roll down a hill. Because this breaking down the hill is crazy. What the heck are we doing? This is proof that companies don't listen because they're not listening. Your 14 Freightliner will run 73. That's pretty good. The faster you go, the more money you make, of course, because you put more miles done in the same amount of time. When you're limited on time, you need to get rolling. You move the freight to the front of the trailer in Evansville. All right, well, I guess at $5 a stop, you got to decide how many stops you're going to get a day, because that's super low. $5, you can't be there just a minute or two. By the time you get backed in, you should be in and out of there for $5, because we're going to want to roll at 51 cents, not get $5 a stop. If you're going to sit at a grocery store for an hour, no way, right? $5. You've had your CDL for 3 months and just got your tanker and hazmat. No, right. Basin is offering you 48 cents. That's pretty good to get started. Closing in on 50 cents. Nice. There are places that would offer you 33 cents with 3 months experience. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And if they're by your house and have benefits that you want or something, absolutely. And I'm glad that you got your endorsements. Go get your hazmat as well, soon, if you can go, study the book or whatever and go get your hazmat for sure. Oh, $35 a stop. 3 stops a week. All right, yeah, that's better then. 35 a stop, that's way better. I thought it said 5, maybe I read it wrong. 35 and 51 cents and cat food, I'm in, and you'll get good benefits there because it's a large place, which is what I like for better benefits. Everybody always writes to me and says, Mark, why not a small company? Because you don't get any benefits. When there's 5 of you, there aren't any good benefits. But, if there's 5,000 of you, like at JB Hunt or more, you're going to get a ton of benefits as well. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Good choice for newbie. Exactly. Right. That's very good. 48 cents to get started. Truck tires have a speed rating of 75. I've been faster than 75 in a truck, and many people have. Right. 60 in El Paso. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. 60. I won't be seeing 60 for like 4 months. Another company had called me after the guy had waiting for 2 months, and they're getting ready to start doing my drug test and stuff. Yeah, right. 48 cents, absolutely. And if they're going to do your drug test, you're hired. That's what I have found, at least. Anytime they spend any money on you, you're hired. So once you get a physical drug test, you're pretty much hired because they're spending money. And companies, no matter how good they are, they don't want to spend money, of course. 70, but they say 65. Well, we won't tell if you won't tell. Pittsburgh to York, Pennsylvania, then back 6 days, $250 a day. That's pretty good too, right? There's $1,250 a week. There's your high 60,000s a year. That's math right there. It's been cold in Indiana. It is, but it's going to get better. 40s, mid 40s here in Indiana. There's 70 drivers here, but we get the benefits of a 1,000 person company. You work for an inside carrier. Yeah, that's not a bad deal either, like this JB Hunt thing. So you can be at a large place like them, or Schneider, or Creed, or any of these large companies, but you're on a dedicated account or some small account that they have. So it's very small for you people, but you get all the benefits of having this large company behind you. So you get all the vacation and insurance and all that stuff. But you're still at a smaller feeling place, but you still get a lot of large benefits. They're important. When you need them, you'll wish you had them, right? It's 22 in Romeoville, Illinois. That is not that far from here. What is going on? It's 40 degrees here now. What's happening in Romeoville where it's so cold? Is the daily wind still blowing up there? Mayor Daley, right? Is 44 good for working as a company driver? It depends how long you've been driving, and that would be considered low now, But, part of it, I always say that, you can't just leave for some cents per mile. How are you treated there? Are you treated well? Or do you get your home time that you want? And does it seem like enough money? I mean, you can get a dime probably, or maybe more than that somewhere else. 15 cents even if you look around hard enough. Is it worth it? Maybe. A dime is 10 grand probably that you could make somewhere else. But if you're on a steady thing, you do the same thing that you want to do. It just depends, right? But that's low. I'm seeing students starting at 50 here. 44 for an experienced driver is a little bit low. Say no to slackers and stragglers. What's the deal with truck drivers and four-wheelers going half the speed limit? I don't know. That's a daily thing that has gone on forever. Why am I passing people? Get going. What's my opinion on Hirschbach? I have several videos on Hirschbach, including their 99-cent fuel scam. So I'm not a huge fan. It's 19 in Minnesota. Yikes. You've been in Evansville for 6 years. Haven't seen a bad winter. Yeah, you get some ice or whatever, right, every once in a while. Not too bad. 100 miles north of you here. You're looking to a used truck. Would that be the best approach? And find the best deal. Always buy the truck yourself. Now, I'm a company driver. There are some owners on here that can get on here and help, probably more than me. But I am totally, I'm a company driver here, so I don't know that much about owners other than I know a buck is going to get you, a buck is broke for sure, a mile. But yeah, I want a truck with a warranty. That's how I would buy it. That's how I buy a car, and I think that's how I would buy a truck as well, because I don't want to have to fix the thing. I don't want to have to fix it. But it depends on your risk level, right? What is the solution to the parking problem? Well, I've been in contact with another driver who had a parking issue. I'm waiting for some pictures. I wanted to post about it, and he's going to send me pictures. He got parked at a Walmart and got booted because there's no parking and had to pay this big boot fee. So what is the solution? The solution having the government. He wants to petition the government to have parking made. Okay, so what do you think? Is that the solution? Should the government provide parking? It's interesting because, generally we don't want the government doing things, but the government is the one regulating the time that you can drive. So maybe they should be required to give you a place to park if you can't drive, because they're the ones that are telling you that you have to stop. It's an interesting problem that is made worse by the government's own regulations, and then they close their own rest areas. Why don't they leave the rest area open? Why can't you park at a scale? Some of that would help it right now. They can open up How many thousands of spots go unused every night at scales that are closed that they don't let you park in? That's part of the solution right away, right? That's what I think. What do we want the government though to provide parking, and then who pays for it? 6 paid holidays are $200. That's pretty good. Most give you 2 if you work on them, and then the day after you have the right last name. Yes. Look, 6 holidays at 200 is better than a lot of places. I see places not giving any. Some give you $40 or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty good. I wish it was your regular pay. You should get a day's pay. A day's pay. Diesel trucker, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Is there any way to prevent companies from bringing drivers to orientation, testing them, putting them through the process, and not hiring them? Derek, no, because they do that because they get paid. When you show up there, okay, they get paid. So that's why they do it. There's grants, government grants and stuff for hiring people. And so even though they know they may or may not hire you, whatever, when they bus you in, generally, right on the crack hound, they're going to get paid a certain, I don't know what the number is, a certain amount. So even if they let you go, then they got their money. So the only way to prevent that is to make them have to give you some kind of compensation, $500 or something. Maybe that money that they get from the government should have to go to you if they don't hire you, especially when they knew in advance. I cannot tell you the people that write to me and say, oh, they hired me, they brought me over, and then they said at orientation or, when I got there that, oh, because I have this felony or this ticket, they're not going to hire me. Well, they could have found that out. This is all public record stuff, or tickets. That's easy to find out. They do it just to get the money. It's as simple as that. They do it, not every company, but a lot of companies do it and they get paid. So they don't care. They really don't care. They go, well, they'll bring 100 and hire 50 but they get paid for 100. And the ones that they fire pays the money to bring the other ones over. So they're ahead no matter how it is. It's sad. They wouldn't want that done to them. That's the thing of it. They could all live by the golden rule. They wouldn't want anyone to do that to them or their kids or their spouse or them as a company, that a trucking company they can call them for a load and go, nah, we have a better load somewhere else. Thanks for your time though. When the truck shows up, that's what they should do. If their truck showed up at a warehouse and they go, sorry, we got somebody who's going to take it for a dime less. They wouldn't like that at all. But that's how it is. It's too bad. And I don't know how to solve it. I really don't. Boldwood Company saying, yes, showtimes are honka or like jingle bells, such as right now. Anyone have an opinion on Butler? Yeah, who has an opinion on Butler? 5 weeks paid time off. That's crazy good. Yeah, that is good, right? I get 5 weeks here as well. Smith Transfer doesn't have a sign-on bonus. No orientation pay. Nice. No rider. 24% a load. That depends on what they get a load, right? You haven't seen a load more than $900. How far is the load for $900, right? That's a question. I don't like percentage. I don't like it. I'm sorry. Everybody likes it. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I want to know what I'm going to make. So you see this 900-mile load. How far is this $900 load? Is that a 900-mile load they're taking for $1, and so I'm getting 24 cents? So I don't have any control of that. When I get at least when you get a mileage pay, that's up to them to make up any difference. At least you're going to get something. And I don't know about this no orientation pay and no rider and all this other stuff. They need to pay for that. Who doesn't pay for orientation? What are they on the May trucking program here? Riding the crack count should be a red flag. A lot of companies do it. That tells me a company is cheap. I agree. They won't rent you a car. You should think twice. Yes, I totally agree. I've always said this way, that before you're hired, I guess it's one thing. Okay, for sure. But as soon as you're hired, you don't ever take a Greyhound for them again. Any person there should be in a car. And a Better Place does that. And some advertise it. If you see it in their ads, we rent you a car or fly you to orientation. A lot of places show that in their ads just for that very reason. So when they go Greyhound, you're like, oh, what are you talking about? And see, maybe they'll give you a car then. JB Hunt does a lot of that. Yes, it's a large company. You're probably going to ride the bus. I've seen people ride the bus from Mississippi to, all over the... One guy said he rode it up to Oregon or something from Mississippi. Crazy. That's like 6 weeks on a bus. You get 10 hours paid overtime per holiday equals 365 plus hours work. That's excellent. That's the best I've seen so far. Flat out says 900 miles and you hate it. So 20, that's what, $210 to you for 500 miles, 40, low 40s. That's the low 40-cent range. That's not great. And you don't have any control of that. And what do they pay empty? If you get a percentage, what does the mileage pay empty? That's another interesting question. Stop leaving cars in the truck parking area. Yeah, at the rest area and at the truck stop. And stop bringing your RV. If there's any RV drivers watching, probably none. Stop putting your RV in there and moving out your 4 slide outs. Okay, go park at the RV place or at the front of the Flying J. They're a small 26 truck company. Smith is not a small 26 truck company, and not the one up here anyway. Maybe there's another one. The Smith up here, which is in Remington, is a huge place. Other people work where you work. Free pet policy, nice. Free riders. Can you have a 75-pound pet, though, like Celadon? Huh? Can you bring an elk? How about that? The age minimum is 8, so you can bring the kid. Hopefully the age minimum for riders is 8. 6 weeks on a bus. Yes, that's pretty brutal. And the same driver, that's the problem. He's got to take his 10-hour break. That's why it takes the bus so long to get anywhere. He moves the people out of the first couple of seats and makes them move so they can go to sleep. It's terrible. It's just terrible. Put your car in a car area stop safe. Look, cars shouldn't be in the back of the truck stop. Who'd go back there anyway? I don't know who's going back there. If you can afford an RV, you can go to the RV park. I wonder if the RV parks are packed the same way truck stops are packed now. Because I see people pulling more RVs. Do you think that is a problem? I wonder if there's somebody doing a live RV show after this show. We can go ask them why all their RV parks are packed full when they don't have an hours limit or anything. But it should be semis only in the back of the truck stop. They shouldn't allow RVs back there. But there's money again too, right? It's because they probably come in and spend money where many drivers park and don't spend any money, which I've asked everybody. When you go to a truck stop and stay overnight, you should go in and spend some money because that's the only way we're going to get more parking at the moment. There's no other better way to get parking than to show truck stops that it's worth it to them to build more parking areas and more truck stops because they're expensive to build, let's be honest about it. And they're there to make money just like us. We go to work to make money, and the truck stop owner wants to make money as well. You know, people want to make money. So we need to show them that, hey, if you build more of these places, we will come in and spend money. I'm not saying you have to spend $300 every time you go in there. But if you throw them a few bucks every time you go in there, they may be more inclined when all those spots are giving them a few dollars each all the time. They may be more inclined to build more truck stops. I don't see any better solution at the moment to it. How long would it take the government to build parking? A decade? After all the studies, environmental impact studies, where they find some lizard that only lives in this 20-foot area, and so we can't build it there. Oh my gosh, what a mess. The protesters, they'll be chaining themselves to guardrails and everything. Ugh. We don't want that. We don't want to see that. Those are big cranes that have mining tires. They govern them to 50. Well, yeah, how fast could those things go, right? I don't give them too much grief about it. They don't have any choice. Is there any way a new trucker to gross $1,575? Well, you could do pretty good. That's what you're at your current job, but you hate what you do. Well, I don't know if you'll make $1,600. That's 80 grand a week to start. You know, it's 80 grand a year. I wouldn't promise that. I'll tell you that. I would not promise you $1,600 a week to start 80,000. Evan says oil field jobs with a tanker and hazmat. You could make that. Will they hire you with no experience in the oil field? The big five, save for loves, pretty much give their finger to truckers. I would give it 2 years and all the spots will be pay spots. There are going to be a lot of pay spots for the very reason that I outlined, and that at least they know they're going to get money. And I really have said that I don't mind pay spots if it's a reserved spot. Could I hold that spot? If I give them whatever it costs, will they have that spot for me the whole night like a motel? That's basically that would be worth it to have. If you knew that on your clock you could drive somewhere and know at 1:30 in the morning there's a parking spot there? Is that worth something to you? It should be. So that you could really drive your clock out every day. And more companies now are paying the parking. So there you're able to turn the receipt in just like any other receipt and get paid for it. And so that's totally worth it. I think it's totally worth it. If you knew at the end of your clock you'd have a spot for sure no matter what time of day it was, worth it. Worth it. You plan on getting every endorsement? Yes, I totally recommend hazmat, tanker, doubles, triples, right? I'm not as big on the TWIC card. There's not that many jobs that use it. You're just shy of a year and it worked for Bond Transit in Chicago. 51 cents, dry van, but it was $10.99. I'm out of that, of course, as you know. You're being misclassified. You were an employee. I don't know anything about your situation, and I can bet right now that you were an employee, a misclassified employee. Make sure you have your truck and tractor in the parking space. All right, the trucking wife, excellent. Hey, can we stay in between the lines too? Just take one space. How many times you go in and see some schmonoozle, as I'll call him here, right, taking up two spots? Come on. Back, pull up once and back in and get in there straight, please. Plus, somebody's going to hit your truck, and that's not going to be a great night for you. The guy that owns the Pilot and Flying J is a millionaire. Right, and he's not going to jail. He's not going to jail for all that shenanigans they were doing. They were just showing that. He's out on bond for Christmas or something. He's never going to go to jail for any of that. If you decide to buy a used truck, be sure to ask the repair history. Yes. You want to know what it's been repaired? Yes. And I think like a car, and somebody can verify this for me or tell me that I'm an idiot. You should be able to plug the computer in, have them plug it in, and tell you the lifetime fuel mileage of the truck, and codes, of course. But I want the lifetime average fuel mileage of that truck because that's important to me. What has it gotten its entire life? If it's 6 or 8, that's a huge difference. So I think that's important. I think you can do that too. I don't see why not. $10.99 means you have to save it for the man. Yes, you also have to pay both halves of it for the man, whereas an employee, the company pays half FICA and I pay half. Now you pay your half and self-employment tax. Right. Besides all the other expenses that you have. Can I recommend a good company for a guy with 10 months experience? Yeah, Millis. But you said no to Millis. So are they the only ones? What about Crete? Will they take you on over there? Or Newspam? Will they put you on with, no really job history? And what were you doing, if I could ask? If you don't want to tell me, I guess if you're unemployed or whatever, you can write down unemployed on the on there. You can. You agree that paid reserve parking is helpful, being you run the Northeast, and by choice. Who runs the Northeast by choice? As you say, someone that should have their head examined. And there, look, that's the hardest parking at all, right? So if you can get a reserved spot, that when I come in, it's there. A whole spot is waiting for me the whole night, that's worth it. That's totally worth it. Maverick seems like a good company. Yes, I agree totally. Maverick, flatbed, or reefer. Every time you scale, you go and buy something or take a shower. Good. And good on the shower. But yeah, that's the only way that it's going to go. And I know the guy that owns it is a millionaire, but usually the people that work at the local store or whatever, they're not millionaires. They're just trying to make a living. Go in there and support the store, and they'll build more of them. As long as it has the OBD2 port underneath, you can plug it in, and you should be able to find the lifetime fuel mileage history of a truck that you're buying. That's your biggest expense, fuel mileage. Make sure that it has the potential to get good mileage. If it says 4.9 or something, that might be a truck you may want to reconsider. Seriously. You love double and triple parking to keep Swift away. Well, you don't have to worry about that. Generally, they're triple parked, through across 3 spots, so you don't have to worry about that. Pilot Flying J and will save your spot and pay in advance. All right, have you ever tried it late at night, Monica, where you pay? I guess they have an app, right? Pay it, and then it's there all night. You go in, every spot is full, but there's one spot waiting, and that is your spot. Does that work? Oh, you were taking care of your mother. Okay. Who had her legs amputated. That's terrible. It didn't start trucking until December. Newspawn doesn't hire out of your area. They won't take that as a reason? I mean, holy crap. Are you kidding me? That seems like a totally legit reason. I mean, to not be working. Seriously. Start calling around and tell them this is why I was not working. I mean, come on. Holy mackerel. They're like, oh, too bad. You got to go get a job. That's totally a total that's work. That's as good as having a job. That's good enough. That'd be good enough for me. Call around. Call Crete. They hire all over the place. Yes. Well, Bill, that's every week. It's dictionary week every week here. That's for sure. As an ex-owner operator, you check the onboard computer as well as ask for the paper repair. Yeah, hippie, I agree. Get the paper repair history if you can get it. I don't know if it's easier on a semi than a car, maybe because it's done, like I get my cars used, which I always talk about, right? And so the ones I always get a Carfax, and it shows. I only get the ones where the work's been done at the dealer, and it shows everything that's done on the car. So you should be able to get that kind of history for the truck. It might be more important for the truck because this is going to be your livelihood, right? I can get an Uber somewhere, but that's tough to do when you're trying to haul freight around. I guess now you can Uber freight it. But I mean, that's totally something that you're going to want to find out, the total history of the truck. But I totally think that the fuel mileage, what if it shows 4.7? I mean, holy moly, right? And what is the salesman going to say? Oh, I was just driven by a little old lady that used to deliver, 300,000 pound, loads every day. So you're going to get 9 with it. I mean, no way, right? It needs to show good mileage for its history, I think. They don't check it at all. I just move the metal sign to the side and park there. Nobody ever asked me if I paid. The employees of the truck stop are lazy. That's true. That's what I'm worried about. But what I'm saying is if I pay and I come there and there's no spots, will they boot somebody out of there? Will they go give me my spot? Or do they probably just give you your money back, which would be very frustrating. I want that spot. I don't want my money. That's the problem. I've called before and they told me I had to have 3 years. That's crazy. Look, Kim, that's crazy. I'm telling you, maybe call somebody different there back. Talk to HR, talk to a different company. That is totally a reason to not be working. It's not like you weren't working. Like just for, lazing around or whatever. There's going to be somebody at a company that's going to accept that, for sure. David Knight, first team here. Oh, thanks. Thanks for coming in. I'm here every Monday for people that don't know. Every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, rain or shine, by the way, or snow. We do the show live every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So thanks for coming in. Good starting company in Illinois. Nussbaum. Time to go. Are we going to get more time on the log drive time? I don't think you're going to get any more drive time. I think you might get the 3 hours, and we're going to know that in January, according to what's-his-face Martinez said. FMCSA guy said we're going to know, and he's going to talk about it in January. We might get a one-time 3 hours off duty, up to 3 hours, once you can use each day, and that'll stop your 14-hour clock. And you can use it any amount from 15 minutes up to 3 hours once off duty, and then your 14 hours will be extended that amount of time. That doesn't get you any more drive time, but it does get you drive time at a different time of day. The idea was that many people complained about traffic and that type of thing, and they didn't want to have to drive through Chicago at a certain time or larger cities. And so you would be able to stop your clock, go get your chicken fried steak, right? And harass the waitress. And then you could leave a couple of hours later after you're slapped in the face, and then you can continue your drive. And so that's what it's looking like for that. There's no guarantees on that, though. But they did say, yes, they were very much considering that. Call the manufacturer, get the engine VIN, and they will tell you everything that's been done to the tractor. I guess everything that they know about. Kind of like a car. They got to know about it. 4.7 is a fancy long nose Pete. Yeah, because, when people go to buy a truck, that's what they want. Oh, I want that big, long-nosed Pete, and I'm going to be trucking. Yeah, you're going to truck right to Brokeville, which is the suburb of East Armpit. You have a little over a year experience driving a reefer. Are there any oil field companies that would hire me paying? Yeah, I think so, right? Oxymoron says that. Yes, there's people down there right now that are going to give this answer. But look, I think so. Your experience, I think you're going to get hired. You got to live down there, though, right? Because they usually provide housing, so you're moving if you don't work there now. Work less, earn more. Yes, exactly. That's all I've ever said. If we're paid hourly plus overtime, you wouldn't have to worry about working 18 hours a day or extending your clock. You'd go sit in traffic. You'd continue your day just like it is. They eat Italian beef or hot dog in Chicago? Yes. From the cart only and make it loaded, right? Loaded, Roger Penske. Load it up, make it a Chicago dog. From the cart, I'm in. Totally in. And then I can get my windshield washed by that guy that stands there with a dry squeegee. And then I can buy the Sun Times from the other guy. Yes, the squeegee guy. People that haven't been in Chicago, I don't know if they do this in other cities. There's a guy at every corner with a squeegee that is drier than the desert of Arizona to wash your window. And it's the threat of him putting it up on the windshield that he figures if he gets close enough to scratching it, you'll give him $1 to go away. That's a good law. You fell asleep for 2 hours and didn't make it home. Edgar. Yeah, it would be good for that. You could use it then. You could put that down as off-duty time. And you could drive home still because it would have extended your 14-hour day. Remember, Edgar, it does not extend your drive time, though. So you're not getting 3 extra hours of drive time. You're only extending your day. They boot him, right. Good. They boot him, but that doesn't do you any good, Monica, if they're still in your spot, right? I need that spot. That's what I'm wanting. But at least they're doing something about it. Because I always wondered about that. Will you have a reserved spot? If you need work experience, all you have to do is lie. With the smaller companies, don't check. In the oil field, you must know how to drive a manual. You should, right. And Kim, look, you could do that as well. I don't recommend this to most people. You shouldn't lie about it, but I feel bad that you're not getting a job for a totally legitimate reason. Can you have a friend lie for you? I mean, that's what friends are for, to lie for us, right? Put down something on there that I worked with my friend in this kind of whatever it is, and then give him that person's number and say, all right, if a call comes in from this number, answer it. And he goes, yeah, Joe Schmo Company, East Armpit Division. And then, so they say, yeah, he worked here, he did this, this Kim worked for me and what. I mean, that's another option. You shouldn't have to do that, okay? But you got such a compelling story. I'm horrified that they don't take that as job as that qualifies. I mean, come on, people. In the oil field, they don't check resumes. Right. Who checks a resume? Now it's a bucket boy at every corner. That's terrible. So I got to have a bunch of dollars. Newsbound does hire little experience, yes. You have a reserve spots at pilot, and when you got there, all the spots were filled. The stall did check, and they told the person who didn't pay to move. Good. All right, good. So people are being moved out of the spots for not paying. And look, you cheapos, if you're not paying, get out of the spot, all right? I've said this, and people get mad at me, but look, it's a private parking lot. They can charge. Should they charge? Maybe. But regardless, it's their lot. So, and I agree, if they don't want you there, then don't go there. True, right? Don't spend money there. But if you're going to be there, and it's a paid spot, it's a paid spot, you should pay to use the spot. It's pretty simple. It's not fair to not pay because you don't like the fact that they're charging. It's their business. They want to charge. And so that's what I say about it. So park somewhere else. But it isn't right to take a paid spot if you haven't paid. I'm glad that they have people move. Wonder what the driver would do if he said, I'm not moving, or I don't have the hours to move. The oil field is full of drivers that don't speak English. And that's a sad truth till Trump finds out. Okay, he's got other stuff to worry about right now. In Chicago, the unemployment office should give squeegees as you exit the building. You could probably make a good living with that because no way am I letting that guy touch my windshield with that dry squeegee with rocks stuck in it. Yikes. Before you worked in trucking, you had done years and years of experience in the oil field. All right, so you have oil field experience. I'd put that down too. Oh, I worked out here for years or whatever. I mean, that's better than a lot of people have. So you already have been in the field, that kind of thing. That's worth something. You don't think that's worth something? It totally is. Jeremy said he did that for Prime. Yes, I totally agree. I've never been told they were overbooked. Hippie says, well, I'm just saying if you came in there and they were full, someone had parked in all the spots. You just saw a garbage truck combination vehicle. So like an A-class garbage truck? Oh, like maybe for Mr. Bilt's, MBI, which I haven't talked about, but they pay really well as well. Anybody who wants to haul the garbage around, MBI. Also Waste Management pays really good too, which I've talked about before. Right in their employment application, it says you may, like it won't happen, you may be exposed to unpleasant sights and smells. I love that line in there. Like, oh, what day will you not be exposed to them? Orangeburg, South Carolina, no experience. You're thinking KLLM or Maverick? Think Maverick. Kim says, you got off the phone with Millis recruiter again, and they said they won't accept stay-at-home mother as work history. After 3 years. Man, that's just terrible. I mean, I go somewhere else. I mean, I don't know what to say. What you said, that'd be good enough for me. That's good enough. And if you have to, have somebody lie for you, because I just don't get it. I mean, that's not generally the answer, but have something that they can't verify where they call your friend, oh, I was the manager at the East Armpit, hardware store, and Kim worked here, was great, that kind of thing. I mean, if it doesn't have to be a trucking work history, then, it's not like you're claiming extra driving experience that you don't really have. So, that they won't take it, it's just crazy. GP is now doing orientation online so you don't get paid nice. Yeah, I've seen other companies doing that too. You can do it online, right? Yeah, then they don't have to pay you. They don't have to pay you. That's how they go. That's every place, though. But that gets you in faster. So let's think about it like that. You don't have to sit around in class. People ask a bunch of 50 million questions about the thing they just watched. Unfortunately, we are a captive audience, and the Big Five know that you have to buy our fuel there on company orders. That's correct. One incentive do they have not to take advantage of you? Well, the only incentive is that you'll go somewhere else, I guess, to make all your purchases. But really, on many drivers, honestly, all the money they make on them is fuel. They don't spend any money at the truck stop. So, and it's expensive there. They had bananas for 75 cents each at one Love's I was at. I thought, holy mackerel, I can get, 2 pounds of bananas at the store for that. So they're expensive, I agree. But the parking, it's private property. It's their parking lot. So because I go with private property rights, I got to say, yeah, they can make you pay to park there. I have to say it. The earlier you reserve the space, the cheaper it is. Oh, I didn't know they were timed like the tolls. That's awesome. So better trip planning equals less cost. And many companies pay the parking now. The owners of the property tell you to move. The driver didn't reserve the spot, can move on personal conveyance. I don't think so, Mr. Stevens. Legally, you have to be told, legally what it says is you have to be told to move by a law enforcement officer. Okay, so that is, yeah. All right, so if you're told to move by a law enforcement officer, it's personal conveyance. This, you're not being told by a law enforcement officer to move. So, although nobody would probably say anything about it, I don't think legally it's personal conveyance. The Love's manager, who's 24, is not certainly a law enforcement officer. So I don't think so. You can reserve the night before and save money. You'd have to know where you're going. That's a good idea, especially if you have to pay for it. Now, as a non-tax expert, I believe you can totally tax deduct the parking as an unreimbursed business expense. That's what I think. Check with your tax professional. Can I do a video on how these mega cares leases are a ripoff? Yeah, they are a ripoff. Each one is different. That's the thing. Each mega carrier and all carriers, their leases are all different. Some of them are a daily rate, like I've seen at like Hurricane. Some of them are a weekly rate. Some of them are a mileage rate that's so many cents a mile. Each one is different, so it's hard to, So what are you looking at? Throw some numbers up here right now. How much is the truck, and how much are they paying? Yeah, right. The pays percentage or mileage. So what exactly are you looking into right now? JB Hunt told me to do orientation at home and paid me for completing. Wow. That's good. I have seen a lot of these places are doing the home orientation so that they don't have to pay you, but then it's also faster getting in the truck. So it's kind of a wash, right? Because if you get in the truck a day early, you're making money a day early. You want to drive for Trimac, but they're not hiring in Arizona? Wow. I did see on the drop down, I guess some states aren't hiring. Is there a way around it without moving? Probably not. If they're not hiring there, I don't know if I would move just for a specific job. I would probably call them and say, hey, when you get something, you call me first. Use family member's address where they are hiring. That's interesting. Your address would probably have to match your license, right? What do I think about Pennsylvania? I mean, if you wanted to move there, I guess you could. Uber and Lyft don't need a work history. You could do that for a few months and get a work history? I'd rather that Kim just got somebody to say something. I mean, because this is ridiculous. And you don't have a lot of time in between driving as well. From your understanding, first PC only applies when you run out of time at a customer and you're needing to find a spot. Has to be the closest place with available parking. Yes, there are a couple of exemptions. One is you're at a shipper or receiver. Now you do not actually. It doesn't say you've run out of time. You can personal conveyance to the nearest safe legal parking on personal conveyance, as long as when you get there you're taking a break. You can't just PC there to get a roller wiener like we talk about, right? The roller wieners. So, but you can personal conveyance there if your company allows it, right? Which mine doesn't. So you have to check with your company, but if they allow it, then you can. But there's also another exemption that if you're required to move by a law enforcement officer. So you're parked somewhere, wherever it is, and he goes, look, you can't park here. Go move over there or go move up here or whatever. That's also legal. And I'd get his badge number for that, just in case. But that's legal. That's personal conveyance as well, because they're making you move. But personal conveyance could not be done out of the Loves, I don't believe. I don't see how you can PC that out of the Loves. Not legally. I don't think you'd get in trouble for it at your company, probably. I don't know, but in an audit, you'd have a tough time explaining that, I think. I'm going to park at the shipper or receiver. I hate parking at the shipper or receiver. What do I think about Landstar or Mercer? I don't know that much about Mercer, but I love Landstar's program of choosing loads because every load is available to you all the time. So you can look all across the country and see what a load pays, how much it weighs. Oh, rhyme. Don't have a bell. How much it weighs and everything in advance, and you choose it. What the fuel surcharge is, what any extra money pays, like $200 of toll money or whatever it says. And so you pick it and you totally decide what you're doing. It's probably the closest thing I've ever seen from our company from having your own authority. It's like one step from your own authority because everything you decide is up to you. If you want to go home, get a load going to your house. If you want to stay out, just stay out. If you don't want to work tomorrow, don't take a load tomorrow. There's no anything. You dispatch yourself. I love it. It's like if your clock time runs out at the shipper, if the property management says you have to leave, it's personal conveyance. But you have to go to the closest safe haven. Yes, you have to do the closest safe legal parking. That's how it's worded. Safe legal parking. But this is different. That it's like if your clock time runs out at the shipper. You're not at a shipper. You are in a parking spot and already stopped. And so you're not leaving the shipper. You would have to personal conveyance from the shipper or receiver to a parking spot, not from the Loves, because presumably you drove to the Loves on driving time. So I'm still sticking with, I think it's illegal. Anything that's related to the necessary performance of your job is tax deductible. So parking is tax deductible. Yeah, that's what I would say too, hippie, right? If it's an unreimbursed expense, that it's a work related expense. And so absolutely keep the receipt if your company doesn't pay it and tax deduct it. Law enforcement officers for public land. The law enforcement can't tell you to leave private property. That's correct. They theoretically could tell you to leave private property. I guess if the management came out and said, get him out of here, they would kind of trespass you out of private property. But they're not, so law enforcement, here again, right, it's a technical thing. It doesn't say that if you're parked in a spot that a private owner makes you leave, other than a shipper receiver. I mean, they're very specific about saying shipper or receiver. They don't say any private spot that you're parked on where you can personal conveyance out of it. I think it's close, but I'm still saying no. Is your own authority worth it, or is leasing a truck to a company better because they handle the IFTA? Well, they handle the IFTA and they take a cut. So it depends how much of the cut you want. If you have your own authority, you get most of the money. Then you got to find all your own loads and pay all your own insurance and everything, right? So it just depends. You pay more, you get more. You take a bigger risk with your own authority because it's just you out there. If you're leased onto a company, presumably they go get you loads and stuff. So you got to decide your risk tolerance, right, for that. How much risk do you want to take versus how much do you want to make? There it is again. That's two. It's almost a hat trick. Oh, wow. What about that? I said a sports word. That's pretty good. You heard Landstar broker have drivers working for them. I would probably say, because the way I saw it years ago was a broker system. Every broker was up there with loads, and they probably have their favorites, and some of the loads are probably given to certain drivers. That's probably true. But the load board I looked at, which was live at one of these truck shows, and actually I don't know if it'll be live, so I shouldn't say that. When I was at Mid-America Truck Show a couple of years ago, Landstar had their live load board up. And they showed you every load was on this board. How many more loads are there that the brokers have that are not showing? I don't know. There were literally hundreds and hundreds of loads all over the country that were available right then when they had the load board up, and they let you search around in it and stuff. And I thought it was super fascinating. Will it be there this year? I don't know. I should look into that. But I thought it was really interesting to look and see the load board, and you could just sit there and watch it. I thought it was great. No ABF jobs in Arizona either. Dang it. It's time to get out of there. Oh, thank you very much. Time to go. I appreciate that. R. Stevens, it's a gray area. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem because you're legally, it says law enforcement officer. I mean, it's not like they said just somebody asked you to move. They say law enforcement officer make you move. So that's not happening here in our love scenario where they're making you move out of the parking spot. I don't think it's personal conveyance. I really don't. Can I call Millis Transfer for a video or something in and verify why they wouldn't accept unemployment as work history? I'm curious about that too. I'll write to Millis and ask him what the problem is. I'm surprised. I mean, so if you don't have a job, you can't get a job? What kind of crazy thing is that? Really, I'm more concerned about your story of, why you were not working, rather than someone that has just been unemployed. But I still recommend that you call around. Somebody who's going to take that as a legitimate history. Somebody's got to take that as a work history or accept it. Or consider having somebody that they can call to verify on a job that what didn't really happen, Bluish hue is finally here. Now that's pretty late. That gets you 6.5 demerits at this time. That's a problem. Jared, always comply with law enforcement. I totally agree. I just don't want to. I don't want to put something out here that is not legal to do, other than we're trying to get Kim a job here, but which is not necessarily illegal, I guess. But in an audit where they come back, always this kind of stuff happens, and then somebody runs into you, and so then a good lawyer like the Hammer, Daryl Isaac here in Indianapolis, all he does is sue trucks. and trucking companies. He's going to look back through 2 months of your logs, and he's going to see maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, on personal conveyance. And how are you going to explain that? That's a and that is a real problem. And that can be the difference between you continuing to work and you going to jail. Remember that driver a few years ago, the Walmart driver that got in that accident in New Jersey? That guy was arrested, and he was legal on his clock. If you remember that guy, he was totally legal driving. He was in an accident. He was like 13 hours and 50 minutes, but his clock was still legal. He still had drive time, and he ended up going to jail because he had a long commute to work. Now, it was longer than normal, but he did have a long work commute, and he ended up going to jail even though he was legal on his time. And so that's what I don't want to happen because of a few minute thing. So that's why I'm really thinking about how this could work, because as soon as you pull out and somebody runs into you, you have a huge problem. And you think it couldn't happen. It could happen. It can happen. In the UK, it's 9 to 10 hour driving limit. Nice. Crap wages. $8 a gallon of diesel. Yikes. 56 miles an hour. I did know they went really slow. We got it made over here. That's great. You see, it's all perspective, isn't it? Can't wait to move there. All right, come on over, man. Delboy 255, we are waiting for you to come over here. Can you just get your CDL since you're already driving? I love it. You always try to catch my money feed. Thank you, Bluish Hue. For people that don't know, I'm here every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And my contact information, Market Trucking Answers Nation and everything, that's also in the description. So if you can't write it down, it's always in the description. I love you sending me stuff. Write to me. I answer every email. Send me contracts, pictures for the gallery, whatever I should see, or just an interesting missive, or like some people do, just call me an idiot. You're an idiot. I get those too. So whatever it is, I like getting your emails, even though you may not like sending them to me. Nobody else cares about your work history aside from Millis. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. You have almost 11 months of trucking experience, and you're employed and looking for another job. You could wait a month or something. I mean, you have plenty of experience to get a job, even at just a year of driving. There's plenty of places that will hire you, at a year. Look at Trimac. It'll take you a year. Check into them. They hire all around the country, and they had really excellent pay. Something like that, That's where your mail goes. Yes, into Arizona. You agree, but your rights and Constitution come beforehand. Yes. You're from the Hoosier. Any thoughts on fine Michigan roads? They're horrible. 75 up from Toledo to Detroit. Had to go get some drivers up there. We dropped some trucks off, and I drove a minivan up there just to pick them up, which they rented. And just in that, it was horrible. I cannot imagine driving those roads every day. I don't know. I went into some potholes, and it was about 3 minutes before I came out of them. Google Maps routes you around some of them. They're so big. It's just crazy. I went down. I lost satellite signal in the things, in the holes. Cramp Company of the Week. I'm in Trucker Wife. My hubby is the other driver. 1 year. Well, they're at a year. I mean, look, a year. It's time. You have your time. Once you have a year, for sure, you can go to any of these places. I don't think I posted one yet that requires more than a year. Maybe one at 3 years. But pretty much everybody after a year will take almost everybody. You got it made after a year. You can go anywhere you want. And Kim, if you're at 11 months, I mean, you're very close. Another month and you got it almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. You're considering moving to Houston so you can work for Maverick since the only job's in Arizona. How come moving is in quotes? Why are we moving to Houston? Because I don't get the impression that you're actually moving there. Trimac should be big in Houston, for sure. And there should be tons of, like, Amoco, how old am I? BP, right? It should be Standard Oil there and, Esso. Okay, there should be oil companies and stuff like that down there. Plenty of those, plus containers. How many container companies are there in Houston where you can probably be home daily or pretty regularly down there? Oh my gosh. Esso gas. What am I talking about? You can bring the ethyl gas up to us up here, and oh yikes! But Houston, there should be a ton of them. But I don't understand why we're moving like this. We're moving in quotes. I don't know what that means. I don't get the impression that you're moving. And this Kim situation, I think that if you waited a month, what, you're no more than like 6 weeks, it looks like, from getting 2 years. I think you got it. I think you got it. Then everybody should take you. You're special. You're the only driver that lives in Michigan. Yeah, that is pretty good. They should pay extra for that. You know, if you live in the Detroit area, you're about the only one living in Detroit. Only person at all. Huh. Oh, you're going to leave your stuff in Arizona and get a residence. All right. It just was weird to quote it. I didn't think you were actually going to go there. I thought you were just going to move your address to Houston, but actually still live somewhere else. How about 20 years with a CDL? Man. And you took 10 years off. Ugh. And it's hard to get a good trucking company. Yeah. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. 951, you are considered a new driver in the industry. Can you believe that? So any large company that is going to have you there, you're just not going to be able to hire. You are somebody I would probably recommend go to a smaller company. The smaller, the better, because they're the ones that will probably give you a better chance. Any larger carrier, they have policies, corporate policies, and if you've been out for so long, certainly a decade, they're going to want to train you, and you'll probably want to be looking at electronic logs and how to be trained on that stuff. But you're going to have a problem. So I'm going to recommend smaller Georgia companies for you. You and Peterbilt 350, 379 could team up together. Yeah, you want to move on paper, exactly. Anybody, right, what is it? It's maybe a year off, I would say at the most, before they start getting hinky and saying, oh, you're a new person. I think you need to go training. And look, if you've been driving 20 years, I don't really feel like you're going to want to go with a trainer who may have been driving for 9 months and he's going to give you driving pointers. Okay, so I don't think that would probably go over good. So that's probably not something you're going to want to do. Let's be honest about it. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. No way. And you shouldn't have to either. Road test, you still know how to drive. Okay, road test should be it. But it's going to be a small place. Big place, just not going to do it. They just aren't. I think the rule is you need to have driven a truck sometime in the last 3 years. I guess it's not really a rule, but I think, right, most places are going to say 10 years, you're just like somebody that has never driven. Most large places. And you're going to argue and they're going to go, that's our policy. Once they say that, you're really done, because we know then the people there, they're not allowed to think at all. They can only know what a policy is. There's no thinking. So you're going to have to go to a place where the owner's there and go talk to the owner who used to be a driver and say, look, what's the deal? Can I get a job here? That kind of thing. And here's my experience. I've been out of the industry, but I can still drive. And go talk truck. Throw trucking words out there, like say lug nuts and air hoses, and just throw those in there. Also air hoses. Also diesel fuel. Just throw that in there every once in a while. He'll go, what? You go, huh? What? What? Who said what? And he'll like that. It's something they're going to like. Just throw the words out there, Oh, and I was also fifth wheel on when I thought I'd get to work here. And he'll be like, what? What? Who said what? Did you say so? I didn't hear anything. And that's how you get in there. Yeah. Say that out of the glad hands. What the? Oh, glad hands. And I was over driving for him. He's like, You go, exactly. That's exactly right. So that's how you're going to have to get a job at a smaller place. Just throwing them out there. I'm just putting it out there that is a possible way. But a big company, they're just not going to be allowed to think. And once somebody can't think, you're done for. But an owner, well, that's the person that can you may have to work for somebody that has a couple of trucks only. But they're the ones that are going to give you a job. You're not going to want to go with Bradley, the 22-year-old driver trainer. He's like, do you like Justin Bieber too? Tucson and Phoenix, a good paying company job is hard to find. Yes. You got lucky and hooked up with a great small company. 8 drivers. That's small. And like what I say about this, unlike this, who I think this person's going to need a small company. Otherwise, I usually don't like them because of the benefit situation. With 8 drivers, I don't think you're going to get the benefits that you'd get at a larger place because they just really don't have the money to do it. You probably get a faster truck, and they may not care about your idle time and all that stuff. But the other backup stuff like insurance and all these other kind of benefits that you get at a large company, you don't get when you just have 8 drivers. You may not even get insurance or not much at all. Really. You may take on another driver. Yeah, okay, there you go. There's an email, send it out there, right? Because it's a real problem. But with 8 drivers, the owner's gonna be around. He's gonna, or she, right, is gonna know about it and will be involved in the company. Once you get all these levels in these larger companies, they can't think. So they just have policies, and they're not going to be able to think beyond the policy that they have set. And they go, who cares? Right, kind of like this unemployment thing, which I'm really surprised about. I just don't understand it from these companies. So now that we've gone almost to the end of the show, I'm going to get to that. What do you, Peterbilt 379? We were just talking about you. What do you think is a solution to truck parking? I wanted to bring that up because I read an article about it this week about the truck parking. What do you think about truck parking? What is a good solution that you say about truck parking? After 40 years, you retired. It was great while it lasted. Now the new breed of foreign drivers in Canada is a scary joke. Well, I don't know about that. I was thinking about waiting till January and trying for bar none. You'll have your year, right? And it's practical miles and really good pay. You could talk to them right now, and say, and then you could be ready right at your time if you wanted to do that. Certainly worth the call. Certainly worth the call. Oh, that's very good. Justin Bieber is a great Canadian, better than our Prime Minister, Gladans. Exactly. Exactly. You've always driven for small companies and you usually get insurance and hourly pay. Yeah, you might get hourly. I agree with that. And as long as you get hourly plus overtime, right. I don't think, that you get the benefits of a large company, of a really large company at a small company. They just don't have the money to do it. Expanding the shoulder on both sides of the road far enough you can have 6 feet between the truck parked and the shoulder ends and allowing the truck to park there. Oh, that's an interesting way. Expanding the shoulder. I could see that as, people already run in the back of you. Like the PA Pike used to be, right? You used to be able to pull off every 10 feet on the Pike and you could park. You think you should get rid of paid parking and large stores should allow trucker parking. This is a problem at a private place. If you go in the back of the parking lot, we know why stores don't really allow drivers to park. Anybody who's running I-65, Meyer still allows parking, at least here in Lafayette. You'll see it right on I-65 at exit 172. You can still park there, but a lot of stores don't allow it because drivers ruin the parking lot. Go look in the end of the parking lots. And the paid parking, it's a problem. Don't large companies treat their drivers like trash? It depends. They don't even know who I am because all the people change all the time. And so a lot of them don't even know me, which I like. Stop closing rest areas. Yeah, why are the rest areas? Even if they're not going to use it, leave it open so you can park in it, for crying out loud. You retired military. Oh, you have your own benefits. Right. Need benefits and $20 an hour stop being over the road. Yeah, plus overtime, of course. Pre-trip, find mom and pops close to shipper, bigger truck stop for showers. Mom and pop places will help locals, plus cheaper. They're being bought up, right, by all these large truck stops. There are not that many mom and pop truck stops around anymore, unfortunately. And part of that is the loyalty card and the discounts, right? Because the company says, if you let any pilot, well, that's probably where the people park too, unfortunately. Do most Walmarts allow parking? No, it varies. Check before you park there. People can check out Geeks Trucking. He did a video just the other day. He got booted at a Walmart. So, in what he said is a truck parking spot, I'm waiting for pictures. He's on YouTube too. Go check out his video. He just put it up the other day. He talks about being booted at a Walmart, $450. So that's super interesting. If you go to Lowe's or Walmart or Home Depot, a lot of the times you can pull around back where the docks are. Oh, nice. Yeah, Kim. So you kind of scam back there like you're delivering. I like it. I like it. You need more mom and pops. They're just expensive. Loves and Petro TA, they have money to build, put all this money into environmental impact studies and everything else. So that, all the regulations, of course, as usual, cost a ton of money. And so people won't build the place anymore. So do you have to pay to keep your truck? Do you have to pay to keep your truck overnight? I don't have to pay for it. Mom and pop, right. Look, mom and pops, who's got the couple $1,000,000 or whatever at the moment, to shell out to open a truck stop that then you have to compete with the Loves and Petros and everything. And that's where all the trucking companies send their drivers. So there's flowing all these drivers into the other truck stops. What are the chances they fuel there and come and park by you? Maybe. But most of them are already there, and so that's where they have their shower as well, if they shower. It is winter, let's be honest. It's not like you need a shower much now in the wintertime. I mean, it's almost spring, for crying out loud. We can at least wait till then. But for the few that shower, they can go over there and shower, and they're already parked. And then if they drive, that goes back on drive time. So once they park, then they park for the night. And it's tough to get people over there. I know it must be tough to get them in there. And so as long as they don't have the fuel, monopoly that the Flying J pilot has on almost everybody, there's no way to get them over to your truck stop. And then they just go out of business. Because it's the same with service. One of these large mega carriers breaks down. Who comes out? Usually a Love's truck or TA service truck. That's who's out on the road fixing them. The mom and pop have a tough time getting in on that stuff. They just can't do it. And so there's no way for them to break in. The market's basically closed out nearly. I guess they could say free parking as a way to get you over there. But then they have the problem of drivers not paying anything. I guess they could, maybe free reserved parking would be an interesting way to do it at a private lot. Free reserved parking. You could call them. They hold your spot for the night. You'd come and park there then. That's a good way to do it. Okay, so all I need from you people, we could start this ourselves. So if we split it up from you, there's been 100 people or so. So $4,000, $40,000 a piece. That's $4 million. And we can get our own truck stop started. It's just as simple as that. The Trucking Answers truck stop. So that's the goal for today. All right. But seriously, and people say, that's crazy. But that is the problem. Getting that kind of money together to open a place in the hopes that drivers come to it. That's a real concern. It's a real problem. Used to work at a place that had a big Lowe's and Home Depot contract, so you could park around back and they wouldn't say anything because they know you deliver there. Right, you're the delivery truck. And I had a driver contact me from Night, and he's on the Walmart account. So he always has a Walmart trailer, and it says Walmart on it all over. So every Walmart, even if it's no truck parking, it's Walmart truck parking. Yes, he gets to park there. He's their truck. He said he never looks for a truck stop to park in because at his delivery, that's where he sleeps then. And I think that's another great way to go. Because with the parking problem, in the survey, it was the number one problem of drivers was parking. So what can we do right now today? We have to eliminate that problem today. We wait for years. That doesn't solve our problem today. So one of the ways to solve that today is to go get on a dedicated account where parking is not an issue. Like Night, he was on at Night with Walmart. He has solved the parking problem for himself by working at an account that provides parking. So I think that is a great way to do it today because that solves your check today. You don't have to be frustrated every day doing that kind of thing. And he's very happy there. And by the way, people, everybody that has written to me that's happy at a large mega carrier is on a dedicated account. I think that's interesting. I've had people from US and all these large Schneider, everybody writes to me on a dedicated account and likes working there. That seems to be the way to go at a large company. Get on a dedicated account. Your deregulation is the reason things are the way they are today with mega carriers. Yeah, back a long time ago, right? In the dinosaur times, even before me, they deregulated the industry and let the market decide everything. But remember, before deregulation, you were getting paid an artificial amount because there was a limit on the amount of trucks. You had to prove that a lane you were going to haul freight in required more trucks. You had to prove it to the government. And that's not really how we do things in America. You know, you don't have to go to the government to ask them if you can do stuff. That just doesn't seem right to me. And I never liked it, and they changed it before I started driving. But that is why you have the situation you have now. The other way is, do you want the government to set your pay? It was artificially high. Did pay come down? Yes, because it was artificially high. There was a shortage then, but it was artificially made by government regulation. Now there's plenty of drivers, but the pay is less. Depends how you look at it, I guess. Half of us that are talking now wouldn't have jobs because the government would regulate the amount of drivers in each lane. So many of us, maybe even me, wouldn't have a job today driving if it was still under regulation. But the people that were driving would probably be making 135 grand, everybody as a company driver. Depends which way you want it, right? When you go to Long Island, you sleep at one of your customers, whether I deliver or not. The guard is good with it. Or you help him clean the lot. That's nice. Maybe that's a way to do it. And really, where else in Long Island are you going to sleep? There's 1 or 2 truck stops out there, right? Hardly anything. You've provided your own parking solution. Just like we were saying. So you have a solution. You don't have to worry about parking. There's really nowhere to park on Long Island for all purposes. 100 spots maybe on the whole place? And Long Island, ugh. Just saying that is almost horrible. You need to change the hours of service, hopefully to less, if anything. No truck stops. Didn't there used to be, look, going out to LIE, wasn't there a truck stop out there? I haven't been out there in years, okay, honestly. But going out there, there was a truck stop out there, not a large truck stop. It seems like there was a truck stop. Maybe not a named truck stop. Maybe it was an off-brand. Maybe they've closed. I'll have to look in my old atlases that I have some of those back in the museum. Some drivers need to learn what a garbage can is. Yeah, that is half of your problem at a place. Go to the back of a, Walmart that allows trucks to park there. I'll go do a video at this one here. We have a Walmart here, maybe 4 miles from me. And they allow a lot of trucks. There's dozens of trucks there sometime. And I'll go try and do a video in the back and see if it's a disaster like it is at some of the places. But, the other side is maybe Walmart goes out there and cleans it because that Walmart is part of a strip mall. Remember when Werner Enterprises ran good trucks like the 379s and W900s and Classic XLs? I do remember Werner running the Classic XLs. They had a lot of those. Maybe they had some KWs as well. I don't know if they had long-nosed Pete's. Maybe down by you. I remember they had a lot of Classics, and they were forever beat up all the time because the drivers were banging them on everything. That was a long time ago, though. They don't get any fuel mileage. Edgar, truck drivers need to be more united. Yes, that's the key to everything, as we saw from UPS, a week or 2 ago? UPS was shaken in their boots when the drivers said, we might all not come to work Monday. So UPS basically stopped taking freight for that Monday. Said, don't send us any more stuff. We may not even basically be open. And that was just the drivers threatening to leave because UPS knew that the drivers meant it. And so it made them scared. And they basically voted for the contract and did come to work. But that's at any company, at a single McDonald's or truck drivers, right? But it has to be company by company because everybody's got a different gripe. Here we have people getting household goods miles. Some people don't get any detention time. Some people don't get orientation. So each company, one by one, could be taken down by the drivers sticking together for basically what would amount to a few hours of time. And everything would change really in just a few days. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Nussbaum, Rail, or Schneider? I would say in that order. How about that? Here's anything about going from 14 to 17 hours. Yes, Thomas, that Martinez, the FMCSA guy, said in January they're going to announce what they're going to do. That's what he said, so he better do it. Not like he cares what I think, but that you might get one period of time up to 3 hours to use off duty only once. You can't split it up. So if you use an hour, you only get it once per driving shift, and that extends your 14-hour clock. And it would be at your discretion, although companies will probably try to force you to use it for different reasons. But that would be unpaid, and so I'm not a huge fan of it because it makes your day longer without increasing your pay. So I'm never really a fan of those kind of things. But it would help people that are attempting to get through traffic or other problems like that. But I'm just not a fan because of the pay. Nussbaum, you'll be a name here and lease not driver 1234. Yeah, if that matters. You know, I'm weird about that, I guess. I don't care if they know my name. They're not my friends at work. You know, the boss there, I don't care. I honestly don't care. If they never know my name, it's okay with me because, you know, outside of work, I don't see them. So if they just ask my number, that's fine with me. And a lot of people there have not been there as long as me. So, you know, whenever there's new people, they don't know who I am. Oh, what's your truck number? You know, it's all the time. So, but I guess that's just me. Maybe everybody seems to like that, but, you know, I just like the policy there, not that they know who you are. I'd maybe rather they didn't know who I was. All interstate rest areas and truck stops in England are $30 to $40. You have to pay to go and sleep at a rest area there? Who pays that? So what's that, 25 pounds? How about that translation? Who pays for that, though? Will your company pay for it? I think truckers need to come together and shut down. Yeah, one company at a time. You can't shut the whole country down. You won't solve anything. It's got to be one company at a time because we all have a different thing that we want. So you can't do the whole country because all you'll do is get the government riled up and make you go back to work. You shut one company at a time down. You don't want all the public to be mad at you. That doesn't matter. Who's cooking dinner? Well, hopefully at your house somebody is. Wife here will be cooking dinner for sure. She's off Thursday only, but I get Thursday and Friday off, so that's nice. You don't care if the company doesn't know your name. Okay, good. Yeah, Sherwin. I don't care if they know my name. Who cares? You know, they're not coming here on Thanksgiving, right? They got nothing to do with me, so you know, that's why I say knowing my name, that's not important to me as, you know, I want a steady paycheck, good pay. You know, they could call me a number as long as the check clears at the end of the week. That's what I think. What about Black Smoke Matters? Yeah, they shut the road down for like 4 minutes. And that guy, you know, like the biggest goofball. He probably did more to hurt the image of trucking than anything. Having that guy out as your spokesman, I mean, oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's just crazy some of these other ideas put out, but that guy, what a disaster. Edgar, why don't I like team driving? You know, look, as drivers, many of us are more solo kind of people. And so every time, you know, somebody else is driving, even in a car, which is very rarely, right? Every bump, I think I'm going to die. When you're back in the sleeper and somebody else is driving, you hit a bump, you think, I'm dead. That's it. And it's dark back there. And so you hit a bump, you're sleeping, and you hit a bump, you open your eyes, and the curtains have opening. All you do is see light. All you think, I just died here. I'm dead. And there's the light coming for me. I'm going towards the light. So for me, it's a no. It's a no. I don't want to go towards the light. I just too nervous. And with the roads are horrible, how do you get any sleep? I don't think it's safe. Really, I've said that. I do not think it is safe. Because I don't think you get a good night's sleep. I just don't think so. It's horrible. It's just horrible. It's not worth the extra money. A lot of times it pays more. Not any good. I'm having Thanksgiving at your dispatcher's house. Well, that's awesome. I don't hang out with them. I'm not friends with them outside of work. They're people I work for. I don't do anything with them outside of work, for sure. If owner operators get organized, so I think things will change. That's probably the least likely to happen. To have owner operators be organized of anybody. They're the most independent of all the drivers. So if they got organized, maybe, but that's certainly not going to happen. The good thing we have in England is a 45-minute break for each 4.5 hours driving period. That's horrible here, though. We're trying to get rid of the break, and I agree. It's tough to find parking. Like I was in that storm the other day, and my time was coming up. It normally doesn't, but because I had my day planned out. But then I thought, crap, this is crap. So now I got to sit somewhere. I'm trying to creep along in the storm here. So I'm not a huge fan of a mandatory break. Is your break, maybe your break is paid. Team driving is the worst. I agree. Don't smaller carriers tend to pay their drivers more and care? I don't know if they care more. I don't care. And do they pay more? Not necessarily. A larger carrier, there's more than pay. You get a lot of benefits. They're worth money. When they give you benefits, like I get 5 weeks off, that's worth money. Okay, you generally don't get that as a small carrier. But when they're paying me out for several weeks at the end of the year, that's money that they're giving me because it's a large place. Worth it. How was lunch at Outback? Trucking wife must follow me on Instagram, where everyone should go to Instagram. I posted that I was at Outback this weekend with the wife, and it was delicious as usual. Thank you for asking. All was good at the Outback. We haven't been there for a while. We usually go out every Sunday somewhere, so I happen to post that out there, right? She posted a bunch of pictures of her meal or whatever, so we haven't been out there in a while. Come out, follow me on Instagram. I do all these kind of side stuff and behind the scene pictures or whatever. Follow me out there. Trucking Answers on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I'm all over. Just wherever I am, come out and follow me. Under the Bush administration, didn't drivers have more hours? Well, the laws have changed a couple of times since I've been driving. You used to have a 15-hour clock with 10 hours driving, if I can remember, because I think that changed in 2000, right? But it was a rolling day. So if you took 8 hours off, that was just extended your day. You took 3 hours off, that just extended your day. So you could sleeper berth, drive, back and forth. And until you accumulated the 15 hours, that was your whole day. So that's how the day used to work. And you could really make your day almost a full day long at some points. Crazy. Mark says it's 8 in North Dakota. Yikes. Holy mackerel. Is it snowing or anything? Of course, I guess that's pretty normal around Thanksgiving, presumably. You see FedEx Ground is mostly team, yes. Contractor offered you a job, but it worries me. Are you going to be teaming there? I would never team with somebody I didn't know. No way. How do you sleep then? What if you're sleeping and you bang the light, you wake up and there's the light right on top of your face? You're dead. You're dead because you see the light. I just can't stand it. I couldn't team with somebody I didn't know for sure. The only way I would team, which I would never team, is with somebody where I came together. But to team with somebody you didn't know, how nerve-wracking is that? You have no idea if they can drive or anything. No way. And bouncing, no way. You bounce off the bed or whatever? No way. Maybe it's for you. I don't care what it pays. I'd turn it down. Money isn't worth it when you're dead the next day in a cornfield. You think we should go back to paper logs? Forget that. I think we're working 20 hours a day again. I'm on record as saying I love electronic logs. I've been on the electronic portion of it since 2010. We're switching to ELDs now from the EOBRs, and I'm a huge fan. It makes the day easier. The company can't make you work over, no matter what they say. I'm out of hours, period. Figure it out, you can tell them. It totally gives the drivers more power than they had before, because the companies knew you could fudge, now you can't. And Mark, ELD equals more pay. Yes, for less work. You still get your money. Totally not a fan of paper logs. Didn't like them. I'm not a fan at all. Team driving is okay for a couple who want to be together without anyone waiting at home, and you could see the country. That's another good way to do it, right? Take your spouse or whatever they are to you, or your gender fluid partner or whatever you happen to have with you, and say trucking words to each other and go teaming. And look at the money you'd make too. A couple 100,000 maybe total for the two of you. But otherwise, I mean, and I still wouldn't do it. Okay, I still wouldn't do it because I don't trust anybody to drive the wife or anybody else. I just can't do it. So for me, it's still a no. I got to have a good night's sleep. This doesn't just happen from a couple hours of sleep. I mean, come on, folks. Come on. You're going to turn it down? Think about it, right? Don't turn it down because I said to. Turn it down because you don't want a team. Because really think about it. Think about it. Can I look at Frey Miller? Yeah, people have asked about that. I'll put that on the list, Frey Miller. From what you're told, Frey Miller has driver cams. Do they face the driver? That's the question. I'm finding places now that are turning them off, facing the driver. You know, they're turning off the driver facing like Millis. Okay, and so they only face out forward instead of inward. So it depends if they face you. And is that a deal breaker? I mean, it depends on the pay. You know, really, to me, depends on the pay. I don't like the cameras. So I'm on record as that. I don't like them. I don't think they should use them facing the driver. I don't. But is that a deal breaker for a company? It depends on the total amount of pay. Total amount of pay. Can I do Western distribution? I hear the drivers say they are really good. Okay, we've talked about Western on the show before, and I know you haven't been here. Western, which is the large, nice trucks who won awards for how great their trucks look and everything, they don't pay anything. Western doesn't pay anything. 36 cents for 3 years experienced driver. That's ridiculous. The truck may be nice. That doesn't pay my electric bill. Angie, thank you for coming in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thanks for being here, and hope to see you next Monday out here. Have a good holiday. Where you live, Western does teams. I'm surprised they come out to you. I didn't know they went that far that way. I thought it was west only, really, to be honest with you. But just because you have a nice truck that you can personally pay to have lights put on, which is great on a company truck, that doesn't pay the bills. You know, I'd rather have my Cascadia and be able to pay my Duke electric bill than have this beautiful truck, you know, with all the lights on it and 500 horsepower and 18 speed like their website says. And, you know, then I can't pay my bills. 36 cents is disgraceful at 3 years, which is what they show on their site. That's disgraceful anymore. And I guess they put all the money into their trucks or whatever. But, you know, they've been on the crap list for a while. I just haven't put them out there yet, but I think that pay is like super low. And they say, oh, we were featured on the History Channel or whatever, Travel Channel, one of them, best looking trucks ever. But I mean, holy mackerel. What good does that do people if you don't pay them? They're probably 20 cents low, at least, on pay. 36 cents is disgraceful. It's disgraceful. I should do a Thanksgiving Day show. Mark, I don't know if anybody would be on the show on Thanksgiving or not. That's the problem with it. I thought about, I wonder if I should do a show, and then I thought, maybe people actually would like to look at their family rather than look at me on Thanksgiving. They barely want to see me today. So I thought, I don't know if I could do a Thanksgiving show. I don't know if anybody would be on there. You can make 54 cents at Maverick as a new driver. Exactly. And then to be 36 cents a mile because you have a W900 with a bunch of lights on it? No way, right? That is no way. I wouldn't even consider it. When he said that, when he would say that to me, I just saw it on their website. I would just be laughing so hard. Can I look at a food service company? You know, like what? Like Cisco or whatever? You know, I've recommended them to some people. They start out at $75,000 here in their ads anyway, but you're working. You got to work it, you know. And not like Misty Elliott. You really got to work it here, you know. They did a feature called American Trucker. Okay, is that where they were? It's on their website. They have a little thing on there. We were featured our best trucking fleet. And look, I'll give them that. The fleet looks great. They're nice looking trucks. No question about it. But 36 cents? I mean, holy mackerel. What good is that good looking truck do me if I don't make any money? Somebody, 20 cents a mile more at Maverick? I mean, imagine that's $400 or $500 a week probably. That's a huge amount of money. I called Martin and they said they'd take me now if you wanted to come over. Martin with an I or Martin? Well, do you want to go there? You know, what's it pay? You're in Blurbo. You're in Bar. Oh, you sent Bar None. See, that's what I thought. If you call and give them a situation, they may take you right away. You may not have to wait that year. Here we go. So check them out. Talk to them, ask them your questions, and then yeah, bail over there. If that's something that you're going to make a significantly more money at a place. You know what I'm saying? Totally worth it. You worked for a company that voted where the drivers voted for new trucks instead of a raise. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, like a different kind of truck, or we all get brand new trucks because our trucks are 14 years old. You see, that's all I'm thinking is the trucks are so old. That's what they do. They make the trucks go so old, then they know the drivers would just rather have a truck than a raise. 49 cents for a reefer driver who's new at Maverick. Right. 51 for flatbed and 54 for glass. And then 36 cents at Maverick at Western for experienced drivers. That's what they show on their website. I haven't talked to them, okay? That's what is on their website in a chart. I don't know what their website, probably Western or something.com. Check them out. Big E the trucker. Yes, you're better late than never. Some of you got to be out there making money for the rest of us. Holy mackerel. Western drivers swear they make great money due to the length of haul. Hauling produce from Salinas to Hunts Point. Oh, great. That's a way to sell the company. Hey, we're going to give you 36 cents a mile, and you get to haul into Hunts Point every week. Isn't that awesome? Boy, that's the kind of truck, too, I want to take into Hunts Point. The biggest freaking truck that I could find. Hey, can you give me some kind of stretched wheelbase truck? I want to go to Hunts Point Market. Great. And your long length of haul, so what? Would you rather work 4,000 miles, at 36 cents or 3,000 miles at 54 cents? Think about that. Think about it like that. Who makes more? Who makes more? Really? And Hunts Point is their selling point? Holy mackerel. Hunts Point. 40 cents at Frey Miller. They have a long length of haul. I'll give you 1,000 miles as a good length of haul. But that's low. 40 cents is low as we're talking 36 cents. Look what Maverick is paying to people that are just starting. That's a great comparison. Western Express. You've seen their greenish trucks. I'm sure. They're really nice looking trucks. Stupid drivers average at the time was 3 years. They don't need a new truck. They need a raise then. You should I would tell the company, you need to give me a raise, and a new truck should just be part of keeping drivers. How about that? You're going to keep me here by giving me a new truck and more money. Drivers, I don't even know what to say about drivers. Who would rather have a truck? I guess that's how Western gets people. Because that's what their big thing is, they're touting. Look at our truck. Look at all the switches on the dashboard. Look at all the gauges are everywhere. Look at this 18 speed that you can go shifting around a Hunts Point Market. I never saw that, but for a driver to put that out there like that's some kind of selling point, like you get to go to Hunts Point Market every week. Wow. I can't wait to sign up. Oh, can I have a W900 to go there too? Oh, thank you. That sounds like the best place ever. You got raises after they slid you, so now you're at 54 cents. Yeah, that's 54 cents is still good money. Let's not sniffle at that. But I would take the raise over the truck, certainly, because that's the money for me. And then they should just give me a truck rather than having me vote on it. They must have known that, too. They were probably going to buy trucks anywhere, and they go, these drivers are so stupid, they'd rather have a truck than money. And the other guy's like, no way. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, well, Johnson, let's go try it. And so then they go vote on it, and he goes, see, I told you. I told you they'd rather have that than a raise. And so then everybody gets a truck and no more money. That's just ridiculous. I should call, we should all call. Everybody should call Western and go, do you have any loads that go to Hunts Point? I love going there. I just can't wait to go there more. I would love to wait for 3 days while I unload produce loads. Is that possible? And they're like, oh man, we got another one online. 50 people have called us and want to go there. That's great. Big E says 54 cents for a rookie is good. Yes, that's Maverick pay. That's what we're talking about, Maverick. Maverick pays really good. They really do. And I've recommended them, and I like them. When does hair follicle testing? They're talking about making that mandatory. I thought that was pretty interesting. So that may be coming soon to a hair follicle near you, where you will give a hair follicle and get a drug test. Saves the companies money, so they love it. And I guess Trump, right? I was reading something. I didn't read the whole thing about that because wasn't that concerned about it really. But I guess Trump did okay, or is going to okay, the hair follicle thing. I mean, let's be honest about it, right? Which we always say you should be able to pass a hair follicle test, certainly. So that shouldn't be any issue. I wonder how accurate they are, if they're as accurate as the urine test, which is not 100% accurate either. Maybe it would be faster, I guess, than going in for a urine test. Maybe you could just clip it right there in front of them. You have to wear a wig then. Oh, that's my real hair. Yeah, there goes your cocaine and hookers for the last 6 months, right? That's a real problem. But at least we'll save some money on that stuff. Only sell it too. You can only sell it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just wear a wig and then people won't know. But I mean, seriously, we should be able to pass a hair follicle. They do hair follicles at night. Sherwin says, all right, yeah. Some companies are already doing it. Do they also do a urine test, or is it only hair follicle testing? Because I'm not sure if that is accepted. I guess because I'm not a drug testing expert on it. But so is it only one or the other or both? CFI is doing hair testing. That's going to be a real problem for me, right? I'm about Ron Howard it out of hair over at this place. Yeah. Everybody know him? Here I go, I'm old again, right? Gas. LW Miller starts drivers at 44 on a hub. That's pretty good. Easy reefer work. No routing, fueling, right? I love that. No micromanaging at 72 and benefits. Do you go to Hunts Point Market? 44 hub is better than it sounds. Okay, Sherwin, so it says yes, both. Yeah, I think the urine test is the one that's still required. I think that's why, but they can fire you on either one. But I think the one that they have to submit to the government is a urine test. I think that's why they still do it, I believe. But they can do the hair follicle for themselves as well. But I think they're required to do the urine test is how they have to submit. Yes, this is the proper test we did. You know, when they fill out whatever their forms are or whatever like that. Urine for DOT, hair for company. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, right. Edgar? Well, Edgar, I'm going to tell you this. They have tweezers, so get ready. That's all I'm saying. And they'll get them wherever you've got them. 44 a hub. How do they check hub miles, too? Do they just go out to your truck? Oh, you know, what am I thinking about? I'm old again. The electronic thing could tell how many miles you drove each day, right? Is that how it works? Qualcomm or whatever? PeopleNet, it should transmit back to the company your mileage each day or whatever. So 44 is worth, 47, 48 of practical miles, really. They could take fingernail scrapings if you have no hair. What, like they do when they look up a dead body on CSI? That's creepy. They said hair is just for them, but urine is for the DOT. I think that's how the law is written right now. That they're required to do a urine test to turn in for the DOT. But hair goes back farther, and that way they can get rid of you, over a longer period of time, basically, and still get their money like we were talking about earlier, because if you show up, they still get their government grant money. So that's why they do the hair test. They can still get rid of you. But the DOT requires the urine test still, I believe. And I will tell you, Edgar is going to have a real problem when he goes in for that. But they're wanting to change that, though. Trump, I think the administration is signing that or looking into it, that they're going to they want to allow hair testing. I know they do want to allow it. How far does it look back? Depends how long your butt hair is, I guess. That's hilarious. No, but I'm serious that it's a couple months at least. I think your hair goes back, right? So depends how long it's been growing there. Holy mackerel. I can't believe it. The show has gone downhill, just completely downhill. And we're so close to the holiday, too. It's just hard to believe it. But I think hair goes a couple of months. right? We're going to say 60 days at least. So those parties you went last month, that party, you're going to have to wait, you have to wait a little bit of time, before you head back to any more of those parties. Let that hair go back in, I think. That's for sure. What should be the expectancy for the insurance policy when a company pays 70 cents? Wow. I would say, look, I expect insurance no matter what the pay is. Those two things are different for me, right? I expect full benefits, that's me, and I expect good pay. So if they're offering 70 cents, they don't get to say, well, we're not providing benefits. No. You're going to provide benefits because you provide experienced drivers benefits, and since that's your pay, excellent. That's very a good pay. A lot of places that show 70 cents are 1099. So are you even an employee at that kind of pay? Because I've seen a couple places come up in the feeds and stuff. I'm not going to say the name because I can't think of it right now. At 70 cents, but then you look into it, it's 1099, 70 cents. So we don't want that. You get no benefits. But I would expect full insurance either way. Yes, trucking wife. Have Edgar just buy some hair. I'm sure there's a lot of that going around too. Hair goes back a half inch for 30 days. Really? So I guess Edgar will only be about a couple hours. They can go back years that they want to, but they only test the first inch and a half closest to the scalp. Really? You have hair for years? I'm not a doctor or anything, so I have no idea. Wild Bell, thank you for being here today. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, Nick, are you an employee at 70 cents? That's the question. But really, I want benefits. As an employee, you may not get like every kind of benefit, but look, I want health insurance and stuff for sure at work. When you're in your extreme upper 30s, like I always say, you may have a health problem or whatever that has to be taken care of. And, many years ago, my dad, and this is like in the early 2000s, when he had a heart attack or whatever, went in the hospital, and they did like a quadruple bypass on him. And then it was hundreds of thousands of dollars because he got the bills at home or whatever. Now, he had insurance, and it paid for all that. But it's not like he had planned on that happening. He just went in, and that happened. Because he had insurance, he only ended up paying really a few $1,000s. He had very good insurance where he worked. He was not a truck driver. But, that all paid. And without insurance, those would all be his bills. And it would have probably bankrupted him. I'm sure it would have bankrupted him and anyone. So you just never know when you have something large. So at least get health insurance that, even if it has a high deductible, so that it covers these huge $100,000 plus possible expenses that you could have. And I personally think, although I can't prove it, that you'll get better care at the hospital if they know they're going to get paid. That's just what I think. Maybe not. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But I think if they know, oh, this guy's got insurance or this woman has insurance, we're going to get something, I think you'll get better care. But it's just responsible too. They did provide a service to you. You should pay them, to the best of your ability. And to cover that kind of cost, health insurance, that's what that's for. That's why I encourage people to get health insurance, or if they have it through the military or whatever, that's fine. But at least cover yourself for these large things. You spend a couple days in the hospital, you're really racking up some bills. He was up there for a couple of weeks. That cost a fortune, and that was 20 some years ago, probably 20 years ago now. Now, I can't imagine what that cost, probably $1 million, probably. We write down the starting and ending miles. Oh, nice. As long as we don't put down 1,100 miles, you get paid up miles. That's really good that they trust you. That sounds like a really great place. And I guess if they wanted to, they could look it up at some point, and if you're way off. But I love that. I love, so a little bit less pay, because 44 is a little lower, even with hub miles, than you could get is worth it if the job is a good job and you're being treated well. It's not 100% pay. If you're being treated well, it's worth staying somewhere that may pay you a little less than another place. You don't want to be frustrated every day and pull out your hair, because when you do that, you can't take a hair follicle test either. And then you're in Edgar's position. Would I help drivers find jobs if I get compensated? I will help anybody find a job without compensation. How about that? You can always write to me, Market Trucking Answers Nation. I do what I can for everybody, and every email's answered. I always say that. Even the long emails, you can write me whatever you want. I read them. I answer every email. I try to go through the video comments. That's every couple days. Emails get answered within a couple of days. I do what I can for everybody, okay? So whatever I can do for you, I'm more than happy to help. Out. I want everybody to get a good job, and let's get the whole industry changed. I do that by helping people. I'm more than happy to do it. You don't have to compensate me for that. I want to change the industry. When people write and say thank you, that helped. That's what that matters. That matters to me. So that's where I am on that. So thanks, Douglas. I appreciate it. And as it is 3:35, I'm gonna be wrapping it up here. So for Thanksgiving, because I am working this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And be sure to follow me on all these other social medias and stuff, of course. Check out the website at truckinganswersnation.com. Be sure to check out Jay, too. I did mention earlier at Auto Transport Intel. He's live over there tomorrow. Over there, I'm pointing over there like he's sitting here. He's live tomorrow at 8 p.m. at Auto Transport Intel on YouTube. It's a really fascinating show about car hauling. So I hope that you'll go over there and watch that show. 8 p.m. Central on YouTube. Okay, that's Jay at Auto Transport Intel. And Scotland, you run 100,000 pounds over 6 axles. Yikes. Del boy, I hope you get paid extra for that. Yikes. This is your first time on the stream, Evan. Thank you for coming in. I'm here every Monday at 1 p.m. Rain or shine, too. So regardless of the weather, I'm going to be here. No problem. Thanks, Big Huge Mike. Thanks for coming in. Thank you, Edgar. I appreciate it. Do I log the blog as on-duty time? Terry, no. I do not log the blog. The blog doesn't pay me anything. So I don't log that blog as on-duty time. Trucking Wife, thank you. And thank you for following me in other places, too. I appreciate it that I go out there. Post stuff up there, too. I appreciate it. Thanks, Trucking Wife, though, for being here. Cam, yeah. You demand another hour of live. Unfortunately, work demands that I come into for some hours at their place, and they demand it as well. Big Huge Mike, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to Big Huge Mike and everybody out there. And have a great Thanksgiving at home or wherever you want to be. If you want to be on the road, be out there. If you want to be home, be home. Make sure your company, gets you there, really. Del Boy, thanks for coming in from around the world. I appreciate it. Timothy was here from another country, and that is great. It's like an international, it's like the United Nations of trucking. We're hope to see you here in America. When you come here, let me know. We'll try and meet up somewhere in the States here, and we'll say hi. We'll welcome you to this country. Big E, thank you. Well, I appreciate you writing that. That is very nice of you. And I appreciate everybody coming in every week. Can you get a Thanksgiving live stream? Would anybody be here on Thanksgiving for a live stream? That's the question. Where would you be? I mean, I thought about it because I'll be off, but then I thought, who's going to come and watch me on Thanksgiving? They're going to be like, this Shlaloob is going to be here on Thanksgiving? Incredible. So, look, write to me, Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. Oh, I'll put it out as a community survey. That's what I'll put it out. It'll be out in a little bit as a survey, and we'll see if anybody would actually be there. I'd just be talking to myself, all right? So there's Edgar. So, yeah, maybe we get some people out there on there to do it. Right. Anyway, I am headed off to work today, or they're going to really gripe at me. So thanks for being here today. Trucking Wife would be there. All right. That's great. I didn't think anybody'd be on there. You'll have 3 devices, so I get 3 views. That's pretty good. Yeah, light all the devices up, and that does help, really. So I'm off to work. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Don't run over your hours to get home or anything. There's going to be crazy people. Gas is super cheap. There's going to be tons of people Wednesday, right? I filled up the wife's car. It was only $3 here. So super cheap. And so there'll be a ton of people. Be safe. Don't be out there being crazy, right? Everybody be safe and don't be stressed out. And we'll be back soon with more Trucking Answers. Thanks for coming. I'm off to work. Have a great day. Thanks for being here.